Oops. What a start to the stream. That isn't supposed to happen. You're supposed to see me. Will you see me? No, I don't think you will see me. Cool. I mean, this is good, isn't it? This is good. What I could do in the meantime is like show you a version of me. You know what I mean? Which, right? Do you know what I mean? And then, how do you see the other side of me? It's just another side of meat. Right, I don't know how to use the selfie lens on this. Front camera. Hiya. Don't know why my camera's not working. So I invite you to look at my face as I'm trying to figure out why the camera's not working. But this is pretty good for a phone camera, isn't it? Obviously not as good as an actual camera, but better than a kick in the teeth. Sorry if I'm a wee bit out of sync. It's just what happens. But welcome in, everybody. How you doing? It is wonderful to see you in, as always. And if you've got any good news, stick a good news in the chat. I'd love to hear whatever it is. My bad news is that my actual main webcam isn't working. But it's probably something dead simple. It's probably something dead simple, right? So this is me trying to diagnose why my main camera isn't working. In order to do so, I will maybe just move me slightly smaller over here, so as that when I do work, you know what I mean? I'll be about. So, let us do this stuff. Right, so if I unplug this, right, make sure all of that's in, and then if I just re-plug that in like that, surely that'll work, no? And then what if I turn this on like this? Hi everybody, how you doing? Welcome in, what's even happening? Nah, my camera, it's not letting my camera work. So guess what we will do? We will do the full stream from the phone. However, how good is the sync? I'm guessing we are well out of sync. Hello Ry3D, hello Carnivore, hello Glasweedian, hello Jigsaw Dust, hello Stevja. Enjoying the extra wee half hour I've got going in the nighttime streams? 100%. I'm just a content machine. Pretty spot on, nice one, thank you Halric. Guys, I'm just a content machine. Maybe we'll just do this then. Instead of using the camera, then later on I will figure out why the camera's not working. Does that sound good? Oh dear, twinged my back earlier. Get a wee sort of back twinge. Isn't ideal. Isn't ideal. Going to be straight with you lads. Far from ideal. But hey, guess what? It is what it is. So what I was thinking was, we just jump straight into an episode of Look Around You. I was about to say Tomorrow's World. Do you fancy watching an episode of Tomorrow's World? It's been a wee while. So there's an episode of Tomorrow's World from the 70s. Maybe totally shite, maybe kind of good. We might see some gore. Sometimes they like to show us gore, don't they? But hopefully it'll just be excellent inventions and fun times and all of that sort of stuff. Anyway, I will start from the top. Hello Ry3D, Carnivore, Glasweedian, Jigsaw Dust. Hello Stevja, Halric, Kono Gems. Hello 1030, loving the night streams. Brilliant. I love that you're loving them. Carnivore says you'll get the hang of it one day. Aye. What happened was I left my camera physically on at the end of the last stream, and sometimes the full system doesn't like it when you do that. So the next time you go live, even though the camera's working, the capture card's just like, oh no, you need to give me a wee break for a wee while, and then it'll decide to work. So it's a total mess, man. It's a total mess. Hello Beneath Headphones, hello Bromo. Community says, I thought that was a bit to reveal that AI 1030 had been trained. No, I've not really had any time. I've not had really sat down since I saw you last. So at the end of the last stream, we more or less immediately went out a big walk, and then went a walk with the dogs. They loved that, and be cooking dinner, eating dinner, I'm shattered, man. So I thought I would just come on, but I'd quite like to just sit and piss about on my phone. That would be wonderful. Bob was happening says, I asked earlier but I fell asleep what's going on with the Scroob movie, the Scroobius Pip thing. It got delayed, so we're not shooting this year because there was a small window where it could be shot. So it's delayed till at least next year, I believe. But for all the information, consult the Kickstarter. And for any direct questions, Pip's your man. He will answer all the questions. Pablo Diablo says, good news, it's fucking Friday in 2 hours. That is sensational. I had the 70s beneath the headphones. Harik says, love a Tomorrow's World stream. I quite enjoy a Tomorrow's World stream, but I don't know if yous are into them. Who digs a Tomorrow's World stream? I think they're kind of cool because either... Oh, aye. Hello, Scottish Mama Bear. How's it going? You were already following me. Listen, if you're just joining, we've got a camera issue. So I'm on just a backup camera. This is why this looks all strange. Why everything's very slightly different. But I do like a Tomorrow's World stream. I definitely do. Since you saw us last Thursday, that's not going to be a running joke, Pablo Diablo. I'm going to snub that right now. Next Tuesday? When is the previous Wednesday? Cutter and all these time-based patter. Hello, B. Dolan. How you doing? Welcome in. I'm glad that you're on One Piece after, you know, doing your shift on the mean streets of wherever it was. I don't know where it was. Right 3D says, Tomorrow's World streams are always very chill. Excellent. Excellent. Well, let's bloody do it. Sorry, I don't know how the unfollow happened. Aye, right, Scottish Mama Bear. What you wanted was for your username to show up there. And so what you've done, because I would do it myself, you've done a wee cheeky unfollow and then a refollow. Do you know what I mean? Now you're blaming your children. Now you're just blaming your children. Oh, it wasn't me. It must have been the Waynes. Hiya, Scottish Mama Bear. How you doing? Welcome in. I hope you're doing good. Sorry for putting you on blast there and having a bit of banter when you might not have been expecting it. Oh, goodness me. Bromo69, how's it going? Bromo69, thank you very much for subbing. Is that when Homer turned inside out when he was in like the 3D world? It's good, isn't it? Pretty good. Right, let's see if my actual camera is working again. I think my camera's maybe overheated a wee bit. So we'll put the phone camera and then I'll turn this on. Bromo69, how's it going? Do you remember I took a wee minute on the last stream to talk to you about HDMI interfaces and all of that sort of stuff? Maybe it was in the process of doing all of that I've... But then I got to the end of the last stream and the camera was working fine. I hate streaming, man. It's just a never ending... Just some bogus pish. Just some absolute bogus pish. Because if you look at this, right, look at this. Alright, how do I turn the camera around? Because I've got a new app to do it now. So, that's the front camera, so the back camera, back. So that's my camera there, and as you can see, it's pure working. It's pure working fine. All of this is plugged in. This happens from time to time. So what do? Do we just unplug and replug? But this is hard to get your fingers into, so you need to like, and now like it's off level and all, oh, heinous. But like I didn't unplug earlier, so why should I need to replug if I didn't unplug? Look at that, looks perfect. How come that's no... Oh, here, Mum will do this for a wee while. Whoa. Anyway. So I guess we just simply don't have the good camera on this stream. I guess we just simply don't have the good camera on this stream. What a wee shame. What a wee shame for everybody. As luck would have it, I have charged up my phone to 15%. However, during the process of the stream, that might be something. Look at the state of me trying to fucking... Right, so now what we'll do is put this in. Right, okay. And then, in addition, we could bring this up here a wee bit and at least pretend it's a normal stream, There we go. Oh, look, everything's just perfect and normal. Oh, look, everything except for like the jiggling on here. But hey, don't worry about that. Everything's just perfect and normal. Anyway, so let's then transform, reset transform. Let's transform fit to screen. There we go. There we go. And then let's maybe go to here. And then right click, copy, go to here, right click, paste. Okay. Okay. So let's do this. What the hell? Why is it doing that? There's some weird padding stuff that I haven't really seen it doing before. Right, okay. Here we go. Right? Right. It's time, troops. It's time for yesterday's Tomorrow's World today. From like the 70s or something like that, if you're into it. We're into it. Are we into it? Let's just bloody well get straight into it. I've got a wee can of Coca-Cola in front of me. I played Complete Ignorance, but now I wish I had a better pick for the big telly. It was a good pick. Did you have a good pick for the big telly? I can't even remember. I can't even remember what it was. Hello, the honoured one on YouTube. Hello, Becky Hawkins on YouTube. How you doing? I'm doing great, mate. I'm doing absolutely brilliant. If you're watching on vertical on YouTube, switch to horizontal. Basically, if you're watching on YouTube, you're better getting to Twitch. There's a better viewing experience on Twitch. However, not by much. This stream is scuffed, as they say. Okay, part 2 of the stream is, can we possibly get this working with me hearing the audio, you hearing the audio, everybody hearing the audio? And I remember, just as I'm putting my headphones in, that Fred earlier today was licking one of my headphones, so I've got that to think about. Listen, if you're enjoying this music, it's made by my friend Quiet and Peaceful Man, and you can check his SoundCloud out. The link is in chat right now. Unfortunately, we're at the start of a new track, so I'm just going to abruptly stop it. Sorry about that. I like to fade it out. I've got like a custom script here that looks at the title of my music player, figures out when a track is finished, and only then will it close it. Hello!
Hello, Kenny wants to come and say hi, so will I just leave this door open?
Ah, you can do. He is in a pure mischief mode though.
He is, he's being cheeky.
Freddie, are you in a cheeky mischief mode? Do you want to come up here?
Yeah, I was going to go to my bed if he's wanting to come into bed.
He probably will, won't he?
I'll just leave it open though.
Okay, well, I'm streaming if you want to have a wee look and join in all the festivities. A wonderful carnival atmosphere.
Cozy stream. Cozy community.
A cozy stream. H2 the Gamzig. If you give me $20, I will read it out. You know what I mean? That's the way it goes. I'm not reading it out to then get $20. You need to give me the $20 first, and then I will read it out. That's the way it goes. H2 the Gamzing. Gamazing. Also, get a better name. Welcome in, everybody. We are watching Tomorrow's World Today. Yesterday's Tomorrow's World Today. Dolan says, we live in capitalism for a few more months, sadly. You mean we're all going to die in a couple of months? Because I wouldn't be surprised. I keep meaning to ask you what that book on the CIA was, because I need something to fall asleep to. YouTube messages are wild, man. YouTube messages are absolutely wild. It's either us or the capitalisms. Well, I know what side I'm on. Let me see if I can find. The CIA book that was mentioned earlier, I created a new tab for it, and then I was like, oh no. But ideally something that's on Audible, because I've got something like 8 Audible credits. Anyway, folks, without further ado, don't you hate it when YouTube personalities say, without further ado, let's get into it. But then they just add some further ado. They will go, but first, and they'll just give you some pish. Well, I won't give you any pish. I will jump straight into tomorrow. Hi, Freddie. Hold on, we've got a wee bit further pish. Freddie's here. Yeah, Freddie. Oh, you just bite my fingers. Did you just bite my fingers? Freddie, everybody needs to see how good you're doing and that you're being a lovely boy. Freddie, could you confirm or deny, are you being a lovely boy today? Had to think about it. Did you see his eyes are bulging a wee bit? His eyes look a bit more wild than what they usually do, don't they? Hello, Carla. How are you? Welcome in. It's good to see you. But his eyes are a wee bit just like... Freddie, you're further ado. You are further ado. You a good wee boy? Tell you what, Freddie, do you want to come up? You go up, and you can chill out. You could be my friend. He's like, no, I will just put my head in this really awkward gap and threaten decapitation if you move your chair. Freddie, do you want to come up here? I think what's actually happening, though, is he has developed a wee den down there. Fred, I'll just let you do you, mate, okay? And you can go to wherever you want to go. Oh, nice one. Dolan, thank you very much. B. Dolan has just texted me. B. Dolan has just purchased a legally obtained audio version of the book that we were talking about and has just gifted me that purchase. So thank you very much, B. Dolan, for doing that above board and legally. Legend. Thank you very much. Oh, dearie me, everybody, welcome in. So if you're just joining us, my camera's jiggered, and but the show must go on. That's what they say, isn't it? Anyway, without further ado, let's watch an episode of Tomorrow's World from the 70s, and let's hope there isn't like a horrible medical story with like a close-up of open heart surgery or something, because this is the 70s, and stuff was far more grim then. Without further ado, let's get into it.
One of the accepted techniques for fattening young chickens.
Llamas not in, are they? Just roasting a bit of flesh. Some carcasses. A display of carcasses. And then this cunt, who visually, you could agree, is worse. We're going to persist though and find out just where this takes us. I reckon not to a good place. But let's find out. Okay, I'm quite happy with this sort of setup like this. Could you hear and see it okay is the main problem. Let's continue.
For the roast chicken trade is to feed them doses of the hormone estrogen.
This is just a grim story to start with. I need cheering up tonight is what I need. And you're talking about pumping chickens with estrogen? I don't know about this one, guys. I've got a bad feeling about this one. I feel like a display of carcasses.
It's the same hormone that's included in the female contraceptive pill. And strange as it may seem, the fact that estrogen has this fattening effect.
I don't like his vibe and shit as well. He just seems like an evil bastard, doesn't he? Anyway.
Is one of the reasons, although not necessarily the most important reason, for continuing research into the development of a male contraceptive pill.
This is interesting. In the 70s, how are they going to discuss the notion of a male contraceptive pill in the 70s? This'll be good, won't it? This'll be good. And I hope this person here is central to the story and isn't just a bit of footage that they've cut to after mentioning the male contraceptive pill. I hope she's actually part of the story and not just like stock footage of a woman. Do you know what I mean? Let's find out.
But there are other reasons, of course. The female pill has been around for about 16
No, she was just a punter.
years, and it's been a most remarkable
No, she is here. Hold on.
success story. It's been accepted in many countries at all levels of society and it seems to have given rise to relatively few problems, either physical or mental.
I think there is a lot of problems, physical and mental, with the female contraceptive pill. The woman, you know what I mean? But anyway, 70s, I don't go ahead.
But there are a small number of women whose hormonal balance is upset and who do have side effects. Some women
Imagine that guy dispensing your medication, Jesus Christ. Got any barbiturates, my man?
appear to put on weight. Some suffer from depression or headaches. Others have disturbed menstrual cycles.
Dolan, I have. So B. Dolan asks, have you seen the stories about how the food industry is now making an Ozempic-resistant food? I did see that, B. Dolan. And I'm a wee bit sceptical about what the story is. You know me, right? If big industry are being bastards, I want to, like, get to the bottom of it because, like, fuck big corporations and stuff. I saw a TikTok where somebody says, okay, guys, there's a job where people, some food technician, he made it sound sinister, is responding to the fact that because of things like Ozempic, people are now no longer addicted to the food. And so the story is that it's this engineer's job to make people more addicted again, to like almost as if it's a cat and mouse game. But that doesn't, it just smelled funny. I was like, I don't think this is real. And so what I think the story is, without a layer of TikTok sensationalism on it, and I might be wrong here, I think the story is that cheap food people have been making cheap shit food, and it's hyper filled with sugar, filled with salt, so it's ultra palatable, ultra soft, nutritionally nothing in it, but heavily dense calorically, right? And that's one of the reasons why obesity is a thing. And so I do believe that that industry is responding to Ozempic, but the particular story that I've seen, and it might be wrong, I've not seen like bigger stories about it, but it was like a TikTok or something I saw. And I think what the guy was talking about was the industry is responding to Ozempic, but the industry is responding not by engineering some pure Machiavellian ultra poison that we're all addicted to. I think the industry is responding to Ozempic by offering things that the market wants. So there has been a radical, I say radical, like a notable reduction on different fast foods getting bought and stuff since Americans started using Ozempic. And that's cool, that's wonderful. But what the market now wants is high protein stuff. So people who are losing a lot of weight are told to eat a lot of protein, because when you lose weight, you don't just lose it from fat, you lose fat and muscle at the same time. One way of maintaining your muscle is to eat a lot of protein. Also, you're advised to lift weights and to try and put on muscle if you're on a rapid fat loss drug. So what I think the industry is doing is just listening to the customers and offering foods that are a bit higher in protein. And if that's true, then that's maybe not a bad thing. But it might not be true because I haven't dug properly into it. So who knows? Moosey says chicken is fine. The lighting in the scene was bad. The lighting in the scene was bad. It was also very grim. The chicken seemed fine, but see, when you're streaming on Twitch, a lot of people don't want to see dead animal carcasses, and I'm into that. I dig that. I'm not vegetarian or vegan myself, but before you see some sweaty meat, it's usually customary and polite to have a wee heads up. Hello, IBS Tough on YouTube. Hello, Nick Sharlark. Did we already watch the Cracker Snack video from Nova? I don't know what that is. I haven't dug properly into it, just keep seeing people discussing it. I wouldn't put it past big industry, you know what I mean? It smells like YouTube blocking ad blocker, then the ad blocker blocks that, etc, etc. Do you mean with the Ozempic thing? Aye, it's like a cat and mouse game. It's any sort of copyright protection or whatever. Ozempic is meant to interact with a hormone responsible for making you hungry. It's the is it ghrelin it's called? So I don't know. I'm not a biology person. It's a hormone treatment that makes you less hungry, basically. So they're trying to create food that bypasses that block. Is that true though? Because I only heard that from one guy, and a lot of people in the comments are like, "Ah, he's making this up." But if it is true, it's important that we all just point at it and go, "This is some bogus bullshit." Because I think Ozempic and drugs like it are like magical, man. They really, really are. And in the UK, I think it's going to be like 2030 or something, where these GLP-1 agonists will be generic. So it means you'll be able to just buy them from a apothecary like this guy right here pretty cheaply, rather than buying the brand name from wherever that company is, Novo Nordisk in like Sweden or something. There seems to be absolutely zero downsides, and all the upsides is like, also a lot of the body positive people since Ozempic came out have just sort of shut up about it, which I think is maybe a good thing. I think they're incredible. I think it's really cool. I know a couple of people that are taking Wegovy, and if anybody's ever struggled with their weight to the point where it all keeps going back on or whatever, and you've saw this but just assumed it's for Kardashians, no man, this is technology, very, very exciting technology, and it's coming, or well, it's here. But I didn't get to the bottom of this whole implication that there's a cat and mouse game between the fast food people and the Ozempic people. But the implication is that they're trying to create a food that bypasses that block. But I don't think it's as simple as that. But I don't know. So the way Ozempic or whatever works is that it slows your digestion, right? So I remember seeing, it was like a TikTok or something like that, of people saying, warning, if you're on Ozempic, consider taking weed gummies a bit earlier than when you think you would want them, because there have been reports of people taking weed gummies on a Sunday night, not really feeling much effect, waking up the next day, feeling fine, going to work, and as they're driving to work, everything gets a wee bit fear and loathing in Las Vegas, because your digestion is slowed right down. And so I don't know how it would be possible to create a food that would counteract that unless the food itself had drugs in it. You know what I mean? It just seems really clickbaity, but I might be wrong. Don says, but that raises the question, what will happen when those of us not on Ozempic eat the Super Doritos? Exactly. I was a wee bit excited as well. There's a different type of drug coming out like next year or something, and again looks relatively safe and cool, and its purpose is to put on muscle, because putting on muscle is very, very difficult, right? Particularly among certain groups. Like if you're already kind of ill, it's difficult to put on muscle. If you're over the age of like 50 or something, it's almost impossible to put on muscle. And people who are like bodybuilders or whatever, who want to put on muscle, end up getting into anabolic steroids and things that might shorten their life. Whereas this new thing that I forget the name of it looks to be like pretty cool, man. I think the future of drug technology is quite exciting. Hello, Amber on YouTube. I'm also watching this on... I'm also doing this on Twitter. So if you're on YouTube and you think you're the first person to chat, no, not on Twitter, Twitch. I'm forgetting where I am. I'm on Twitch. I'm streaming on Twitch right now, everybody. And so there's a if you're on YouTube or Twitter and it looks like I'm talking to nobody, I'm actually talking to a very vibrant Twitch chat. Hello, Funkle Albert. Does this get you bubbled? Mm-hmm. You'd think after 27 months I'd remember. Changed it recently. Doesn't bubble it straight to the dome anymore. It's more of a sort of vibey ambience bubble. But Funkle Albert, welcome in. How you doing? If you're just joining, I've got a slightly different camera set up today. I'm sorry, it just is what it is. I'm just sorry, okay? Let me see if my camera's started working again. Nah. Fun Clubber, thank you very, very much for the sub. And Bromo69, thank you very much for the sub. If you're just in, we're talking about GLP-1 agonists technology. Right, where are we in chat? But if that is the case, that's absolutely fucked up. Ry3D says, the only things that terrify me a bit is the fake protein stuff. Like, how are we getting 0-calorie drinks with 60 grams of protein? 0-calorie stuff isn't actually 0 calorie. So if anything is under 5 calories, they can legally mark it as 0 calories. And it's all a bit funny. Again, like anything, marketing kind of fucks us up. Carla says there are sometimes menial differences between high protein labelled food versus one that doesn't have that sticker, but providing one's upping the proteins, it shouldn't matter where it comes from, so beneficial all around. Aye, 100%. Like, if anybody wants to up their protein, it's difficult and it costs a lot of money. So if you want to eat more protein in your diet, you've got to get stuff like chicken, salmon, things like that, some lean meat. And so if you're eating, what is it you're supposed to have? 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight every day. So if you're 328 pounds, i.e. The Undertaker, I'm just thinking about weight in pounds. I go to wrestlers. 328 pounds from Death Valley, The Undertaker. Anyway, so if you're 328 pounds, you're supposed to eat 328 grams of protein per meal or per day. I've never really get into counting macronutrients or anything like that, so I don't know about this stuff. And that means that your ability to retain or even put on muscle is there. Aye, there we go. I've lost 5 stone on Monjarno so far. Jesus Christ, Gibbs, congratulations, man. That is dynamite. Can you confirm or deny if anything I've said is true or false then? Because I don't really know all the ins and outs. I just think it's kind of cool, because I keep hearing stories about this for different people. I'm speaking to colleagues and stuff, and folk that I haven't seen for a couple of years, and I'm like, my God. Ry3D says, am I right in thinking it can help people with conditions that can cause insulin resistance though? Aye, so Wegovy is the brand name, right? And you've got Tirzepatide and you've got other ones like that. Monjarno. But they're all a similar sort of thing. And type 1 diabetics have been using it for the past sort of 10 years to control their stuff. And only recently has it become available as an appetite suppressant. And because we've got over a decade of knowledge from a group that's already been using it quite a bit, it's a matured drug. It's not as if, and obviously all the tests and stuff that have been done there. So if you can afford it, I strongly think it would benefit your life, depending on who you are and medically what you've got going on with you and stuff like that. I think it's amazing technology. Every now and again, like ChatGPT is one of them, and this is another example of just things that are fucking brilliant. But I'm not entirely sure. 3.5 stone, Carla, Jesus Christ. Congratulations. This is amazing. I'm probably sitting here chatting about this sort of stuff, and there are actual people in chat who are like, he's talking shite. You know more about it than what I do. There's also a lot of research on how it also affects other addictive tropes, as it also puts you off drink and drugs. I have heard that. I've heard alcoholics have noticed a benefit. So I don't think it's been prescribed as that currently, but I've noticed people have got a reduced appetite for other vices. There's cater cakes as well. Congratulations, you two. £22 now for me, almost 2 stone. Did you see the horrible price increase news starting September the 1st? I'm super upset by it. Is the price increasing? I thought the price was going to decrease. I thought that was the vibe. I don't know how long the shelf life is, but maybe stock up. I don't really know. But aye, that's pish, isn't it? Caravore is just off the phone with the old man there, explaining Twitch for the umpteenth time. The main question is, does the old man have Amazon Prime? That's the main question. Soylent Green's people. Dolan says, turns out we're supposed to be drinking water and eating protein for like 75% of our lives. Aye, man, who's got time for that, pish? Get a Coca-Cola inside you, am I right? Killian says, it's like how if sugar content is less than 1 gram per serving, it can be labelled as sugar-free, which is why Tic Tacs can be labelled sugar-free despite just being sugar, because one serving of Tic Tacs is one Tic Tac. Aye, there needs to be a sort of change in marketing or lying about stuff like that. I turned down a drink sponsor because they claimed to be sugar-free. I looked into the ingredients and it's like, aye, we've got like 4 grams of sugar. What? Go fuck yourselves, man. Stop lying. Just say there's 4 grams of sugar. I don't mind consuming 4 grams of sugar if I know that I'm consuming it. Shaggy says, next you'll all be telling me I'm bloody breathing wrong. You might be. You might be. Look at sleep apnea. Your GLP-1 semaglutides. Aye. Semaglutides. Aye, Caravore, you're up to speed. That's more or less what's happening. All the drugs just sound like Marvel villains. That's a point. All fun and games until you faint from starvation and fatigue. Well, Martin, you're not really supposed to get yourself into a position of starvation and fatigue. So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, everybody that's on this, on the medication, but I think they'll like give you a leaflet and stuff like that and speak about things like your basal metabolic rate, how much calories you should be eating to maintain your weight versus reduce weight versus put it on. I would imagine in the same leaflet they will discuss the dangers of muscle loss and stuff like that, because that is a big deal. I think if you're a really big person, I would advise against getting straight into exercise in terms of like cardio and stuff like that when you're still really big, because you might just ruin your knees and stuff. But lifting weights has definitely got merit. And then when you're healthier, obviously heart health and cardiovascular health and all of that's very, very important. But I'd imagine, like, I don't think anybody wants to take this medication, not have an appetite, and then starve themselves, because that's not going to be sustainable. Have I just found an expensive example, or is this stuff really £200 a week? I don't think it's £200 a week, Plodder, but somebody in chat can advise. It might be £200 a week, but I don't think it is. I think because of that, it can be beneficial for women with polycystic ovary syndrome. What does the S stand for? Which is really good considering it can be really difficult for women with that to lose weight. Aye. I keep seeing stuff about PCOS as well. And because I'm a man, I'll just block that out. I'm just like, I don't know what this is. Woman pish, I'm not interested. But I think you're right. Pretty accurate. It's helped me personally manage diet, so better nutrition, less inflammation, and PMDD, PCOS symptoms are reduced, but still there. That's interesting, isn't it? It does. See, between stuff like that and then helping out people with addiction issues potentially as well, seems like a new, cool, amazing thing. Mounjaro was 149 quid for 5 milligram dose. Is that for a month? Trump wants Europe to suffer higher prices because it will somehow make lower prices for Americans. Isn't it a European company, though? Plan by Eli Lilly is to increase prices 170% on all doses. 1.8 million went private on it. Is Mounjaro the same as Wegovy? So I think Wegovy is Novo Nordisk is the name of the company, which isn't an American company. So I don't think Trump can fuck about with that. You know what I mean? Will the price of that increase? Or is it only Mounjaro? Also, from what I've been reading as well, on the horizon, there's like another 3 or 4 of the peptides that are like even better than the ones that came before. They are wild names. It's like something out of Power Rangers or something. But that's something, isn't it? Channel 13 says, just please hydrate everyone, but don't overdo it. Also, remember your pishies as well. Remember to get your pishies in, everybody. It's very important. Always be pissing, ABP. There are some concerns about negative effects on bone density after prolonged use of the drugs. Base and brace, I believe that's just from weight loss. So anytime anybody loses weight due to a caloric restriction, there is a very high risk of muscle loss and a decrease in bone density. But I don't think that's related to these drugs. I think that's just a side effect of losing weight. But both those things can be negated by lifting weights, which I think anybody on these drugs should be doing. You should be lifting weights, compound lifts, barbell squats, deadlifts, all that sort of stuff. I'm a little careful about getting impressed by stuff like this without seeing the longevity studies. Well, that's the cool thing, Martin. People have been using this for over a decade for diabetes. So the longevity studies say pretty good going. Or the core mechanism anyway, but then the other drugs that are coming after it are like variations of these peptides. But I totally agree. I can't wait until the price is that low that having excess body fat is a personal choice. You know, I think there'll be a point where anybody that wants it can have it. I think it's cool, man. Carol says, I personally felt very tired for a while, though a lot of that could be because of the overall calorie deficit rather than the medication. Gibbs says, sleep has been better. Kate, do you sleep better or worse on it? This is interesting, isn't it? It's cool stuff, man. My pishing is phenomenal, thanks. Happy to report. Good. Get rid of the skid marks. Hello, Tiger Tam. Welcome in. I forgot I'm on this scene. Anyway, we've made it 3 minutes, not even 3 minutes into Tomorrow's World. They're talking about a male contraceptive. Let's see in the 70s how they deal with this language.
Or may just feel vaguely uncomfortable. So there is a place for an effective male pill if the wife can't or won't take the female pill.
So a lot of words there that are doing a lot of heavy lifting in it. Male, female, wife.
34.5 pence.
Vincent Price, ass MF. Am I right? Well, Carla, there's the vibe, right, where because of celebrities and stuff using Ozempic and because of tabloids and all of that, there is a vibe that I've noticed of it's accusatory. Oh, did you see this celebrity's on Ozempic? Look at her face. She's got Ozempic face. Oh, what's Ozempic? Ozempic face. That's a pure titilising headline. Let's Google that. And it reminded me of, like, in bodybuilding, right? If you see somebody that's pure huge, the chat about them always is, are they a natural or did they take anabolic steroids? And I've noticed there's a similar sort of accusatory, puritanical vibe in tabloid stuff about people who are taking Ozempic. Oh, did you really lose the weight yourself? Or did you cheat, you filthy cheater, by taking this drug? And it's like, calm the fuck down. I'm like, where is this coming from? I don't think there's any merit in losing weight. Like, from what it's turned out, some of us, for whatever reason, the part in our brains that are sautéed with food, some of us, that is wired over here. Other people, it's wired over here. And we now know, because of hormone therapy, that that's like a hormonal level. It's just like stat points in a video game. Some of us have got this and other people don't. And if you look at the health benefits of even somebody who's overweight losing a stone or whatever, if you look at the health data points as to how much that will increase their life, their longevity, their quality of life, a massive reduction in different illnesses and all of that sort of stuff. Like, I don't think there's any reason other than cost if anybody wants to go on it. I don't think there's any reason why they shouldn't. It's kind of like if a new pill was released tomorrow that made people quit cigarettes, right? And it cost £150 a month or something like that. Then it would be unfair to mock people who are taking it and have successfully quit cigarettes, wouldn't it? Or did you really quit cigarettes, or did you cheat by taking this medication? It's like, go fuck yourself, man. Absolutely, go fuck yourself. And I do think that for some people, losing tons of weight has got a similar health benefit as the beneficial properties of quitting cigarettes. It's difficult to talk about. A lot of people don't really want to talk about weight loss and all of that sort of stuff. But you know me, I care about bogus bullshit, and there's a lot of people speaking about a trendy thing and adding a lot of misinformation and bogus bullshit into it. So once again, there's at least 3 folk in chat who are talking about it and who are into it and have been quite kind and informative, sharing their experiences. If I've said anything that's a lot of shite, let me know, please. Hello, Lost Fella. I've been lurking for a bit and thought that was the back of John Waters this entire time. No, I think just old guys in the 70s do look a bit like Walt Disney. Mad Vincent Price. Anyway, let's see if this young woman can get her birth control pills. Hello, Deal Fantas of Sweden.
But
How's
another
it going?
important argument for a male pill must be the population explosion. Although there are some who still argue that no problem exists, there are a very large number of scientists.
Not anymore. We're not shagging anymore because young people don't have any money because your fucking generation hoarded it all, you bastards. Not you, you're fine. But the guy who's talking.
Who believe that the world needs not one, but many effective methods of birth control. There have been many attempts to develop a male pill, without success.
He just looks like a
Professor Dennis
comedy
Lacey
character,
of St.
man, doesn't he?
Bartholomew's Medical School believes that he has developed a combination of 2 artificial hormones that should bring about temporary sterility in men without impairing their sex drive.
Is that a Nixie tube? I think that was a Nixie tube. Look at that, man, what?
Impairing their sex drive. Indeed, it's even possible that the sex drive will be increased. But his first task was to fill in the gaps in our knowledge of just how the male organs work. The male testis consists of a vast number of minute tubes in which the sperm develop.
Minute tubes? Not me, man. My tubes are fucking massive. We can't see what you're watching. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Thanks for sending me a message there. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. I'm not going to skip it back. Some guy was just talking a lot of shite about things. It's because my camera's messed up today, so I'm actually streaming on my phone, and because of that, I've had to do... I'm not going to explain myself, but Kate, thanks very much for telling me that you couldn't see my thing.
It also contains 2 other important cells.
Can I check something? See if I'm in the wrong scene right now. Can a mod just try ! Scene? Like, imagine I'm just sitting watching this, ! Scene. And then hopefully it should automatically do it. Nah, I need to reprogram that. It's not worked. But thank you very much. I need to redo that.
The Sertoli, which envelops the sperm, and the Leydig cell. The existence of both these cells is well known.
A lady cell in sperm? What?
The precise function of the Sertoli cell has been something of a mystery, but it's been known for some time that the Leydig cell is responsible for producing a hormone, the so-called male hormone, testosterone.
Now, it's this hormone which
I was just talking about testosterone.
governs the functioning of the male sex glands. It also, in fact,
Glands.
is responsible for the sex drive. So this is a very important part of the function of the testis. Now, all this, as has long been known, is under the control of the so-called master gland, the pituitary. So let's have the pituitary. Now, this...
The only mention of the pituitary gland that I ever encounter are from like healing crystal enthusiasts that you see on YouTube and TikTok. telling you that your pituitary gland can excrete chemicals that can make you do remote viewing, so you'll be able to see Jupiter and shit like that. Just absolute nonsense. So it's interesting to see it come up just in like a pure dry medical biological explanation for what testes are.
This also produces hormones,
Hi wee shed, how you doing?
and these hormones, which we'll call A,
Give me just a wee second. We've got some fantastic good news in. Electric Will is in chat saying, good news, it's my 40th birthday on Sunday. A huge milestone with someone with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Electronic Will, sorry for not saying that word correctly. You think by now I'd have learned how to say it. But that is incredible, man. Very happy birthday. Do you know, it's my 39th birthday coming up quite soon as well. I think we are maybe a year and just a few days apart. It's my birthday on the 21st this month. So Leos represent, man. That's some excellent news, man. Absolute dynamite. And happy birthday, man. So is it Sunday? I might even be streaming on Sunday. Please remind me if I'm streaming.
and B are responsible for the development of the testis as a whole. Now, A acts on the Leydig tissue and is responsible for the activity of these cells and hence for the
Mate, I'm not quite getting it. If you get any photos.
production of the testosterone and therefore for the sex drive. What has been
Maybe like some 3D models or something like that.
less clear has been the function of B and the role
Fucking hell, they've given this guy a lot of screen time, haven't they? Just one guy and a bit of chalk. This is tomorrow's world. We're expecting, like, lights and stuff like that, man. Glowing fiberglass bits, like, tissue inside. So is there This is pish, man.
all of these Sertoli cells. Well, we've helped to show that B acts on the Sertoli cell and that the Sertoli cell also produces
You're a Tolly. Well, let's get this guy ahead because he's fucking hell. Look at all of this that we could have been. Jesus Christ. Oh, this is a lot. Look at this. This is about half the show. Oh, right, now we're talking. Imagine I didn't skip that ahead and we just sat and we watched all of that. My God. Chase yourself, man, and shave these sideburns.
orally.
The last word in his wee presentation was orally. Right, what have you got?
Both these hormones are already produced by pharmaceutical companies, and both have been used separately in different research projects with male volunteers.
We said we're watching Tomorrow's World from 1971. I don't know what's happening, but I think this woman's going to snort a line of coke.
So it's well known that they're non-toxic to men.
Look how just grim. Nothing against the person, right? But see, close-ups and stuff back then were very just unflattering and grim. The look around you absolutely nailed it.
Men. But here, for the first time, they've been
Like a close-up of a finger will be all like dirty and like... Similarly, her face, man, it was like a close-up in my skin.
used together. During a prolonged laboratory research program, they've been given in carefully controlled amounts to batches of rats. The results have been startling.
We might see a rat in distress. This is the 70s. Aye, we're not watching that. So there's a shot, right? It looks at what she's doing with a rat, and then it looks back up at her face, and she's got this expression. And then it cuts back to what she was doing with the rat. That isn't TOS, but I don't think we'll watch any for the 70s again. It was the 70s that showed us the baby boy, wasn't it, with his dick out? I streamed a newborn baby boy's dick and balls. I didn't mean to.
This is a field of research where over the past few years there have been a great many promising starts and just as many disappointing ends. And it's far too soon, of course, to draw any conclusions from this particular development.
It's not going to happen, mate. It's 2025, we still don't have it.
At the moment, Professor Lacey is trying to raise funds to set up clinical trials. And it'll be a long time before we have the results of those. But all the same, he feels that because of the new knowledge that's come out of research over the past 3 years, we should at least be in sight of a safe, effective male pill.
Why was the weird... Who put this together, man? Is this an actual episode, or is it just the rushes or something? Strange, isn't it? Base Embrace says, nowadays it would be Paddy McGuinness dressed as sperm. 100%. 100% hello meatballs, welcome in, we're watching Tomorrow's World. I remember giving a talk and doing an improvised illustrations at a blackboard, one notch before getting picked up by men in white suits by the end of it. I've never given any talks like that. I wouldn't even know where to begin, man. I wouldn't even know where to begin. She's making meth in a game, 100%. Hello Magnificent Seven. That's a good name. Nobody had skincare routines. I don't think it's the fault of the skin. I think it's the fault of like the unflattering camera decisions. Anyway, you're thinking about your eye too much. Haha, it's fine for normal people. No, I'm thinking about like my skin because of all the bubble blasts. Not like that weird eye thing. The weird eye thing is a separate thing, which wasn't really represented here. Okay, everybody, let's go on to the next story that hopefully doesn't have any grimy gore, nudity, or a newborn baby's cock and balls. I think this isn't an episode. I think this is just the rushes of like different reports. So I wonder what it's going to be now. And that's why the presentation was so long.
I think if I had to be a salesman, I'd want to be a pet salesman. It must be the easiest job in the world. I mean, they sell themselves. Just look, small, innocent bundles of fun, just waiting to be bought.
This is going to end horribly, innit? I just know it's going to put me in a bad mood. And I'm going to be too sad to fall asleep.
But of course, pets present all sorts of problems which aren't apparent at this stage in their existence. They need feeding.
I thought he was doing something to that dog's head, man. I thought he was doing something to that dog's head. Learning why your parents were so fucked up in real time, though? Aye, maybe. You might be right. I've just got a bad feeling about it. I don't trust this guy to take care of that dog. That dog is almost certainly dead now. Like, I would put my house on it. I don't own a house. I would guarantee you that dog's no longer alive. So, how to think about that?
They need taking for walks. They tend to make messes on the carpet.
That's a good dog. It wasn't pulling on the lead. It was a nice, relaxed lead. That's a very good dog.
And if that's not enough, they give some of us hay fever.
His wee tail's wagging. It checked on the camera operator there as well. Do you see that? Is Llama in? Llama, look. Llama, look. Look. If Llama's in, I don't think Llama's in.
But now technology has produced a pet which overcomes all these problems. In fact, it's made boa constrictors, dogs, cats, even macaws, objects of the past. It's a Z, spelt X-E-E. Or to be more precise, the Z, because in this cage is the only animal of its kind anywhere in the world. Come on. He's a teeny bit temperamental because he doesn't seem to like bright lights. Oh dear. Be cruel to be kind.
You son of a bitch, I'm in. Can I just say though, from a practical standpoint, there's no way this thing is getting back in there because of the tiny step. That isn't getting up that step, is it? It isn't. Is that resistors that are on top to fashion some form of Mohican? What is this, man? It looks like paper mache. What the hell is this? I'm going to have to build a replica, aren't I? I think I am. I'm going to have to make one of these depending on how good it is.
There, the world's first real live Z.
I think that's just working similar to a primitive Roomba, where it keeps going till a button, so it'll be like a limit switch or something, is pressed, and then it'll rotate a random direction and then just travel in that until the button's pressed again. Is that all it is? I mean, that's pretty advanced for the 70s. I bet you the thing gets red hot and requires tons of batteries and stuff. But it looks like more of an art project than anything else, doesn't it? It's certainly going to replace my Doug.
Of course, the two things that Z isn't are real and live. He's a do-it-yourself pet, entirely mechanical and electronic, which any enthusiast can build at home from instructions in an electronics magazine.
Sir Killalot's gran, 100%.
The designer, Jerry Brown, is a computer expert, and he's incorporated
It was designed by a rabbit?
a considerable amount of computer technology into Z. What singles out this device?
Get Jerry on. I want to see his vibe, man. Get the guy on, please. I need to see the guy that made this and then wrote into the BBC. Look, that's where they keep the magnets. You see that magnet? It's the magnet shelf.
From other mechanical toys is Z's unpredictable behavior. Once he's switched on, Z has a mind of his own. He acts and reacts to situations in a way no one can forecast.
I think I just did forecast it. He'll walk forward until he gets to something. Then when he gets to the thing, he'll rotate and then he'll continue walking forward again. Just stop the hype, man. Tell us what this thing can do. It's made out of half an Easter egg and some resistors.
Whatever he does is always a complete surprise.
But at the moment, even the rabbits are a bit confused. Let's see how he works.
I'm very interested.
If we look underneath Z's tummy, we can see his two muscles.
Cool. So what we're talking here are some chips up here that I think back in the day, these probably won't be EEPROM chips with like a custom bit of code inside. These are probably just timer chips, maybe. How many pins have they got? 3, 6, 7 on one side? Surely 8. Looks like 7 pins on one side, 14 pins on 7 chips. Can't really tell what's going on here, man. Vintage components. Don't really recognise any of that.
These motors here, which power the wheels.
That was the motors there that he pointed out. It looks like there's wires up to the front bit, so I was maybe right with the like a switch in the front that would then change direction.
These motors here, which power.
Aye, so this bit in the back's all drive stuff. But I'd be very interested what this logic is. Also, what the fuck is this here? Is that just a giant resistor? Like a power resistor or something? And where's the battery? Is the battery behind this plate? I'm sure he's going to tell us all in a wee minute.
The wheels. And when Z reaches an obstacle of one sort or another, the motors have to work harder than they should. And this is sensed in this tiny relay here.
That's clever, isn't it? So there isn't a switch. It's when the motors are under strain, it knows. That's cool.
Yeah. And a decision has to be made. The decision-making apparatus starts with this Zener diode, which emits white noise. Now,
Do you say Zener diode or Zener diode?
audibly, this is just a random hissing sound. But on an oscilloscope, white noise shows up as a number of peaks and troughs.
My guy said Tommy. I spotted it as well. I'm just reminded of, remember the Willy Wonka experience guy when he was getting his comeuppance, said that it made him feel sick to his tummy. I can't hear the word tummy without thinking of that Willy Wonka experience guy.
Very close together. White noise is passed through this
Definitely new project alert. So, correct me if I'm wrong, did it say that this is available to download the schematics of in a magazine?
amplifier to these.
Because I wonder if that's been archived anywhere from 1971, a robotics magazine. But surely not. Is that right?
Two integrated circuits which count these peaks and troughs. Now, nobody can predict what that number is going to be, but these two circuits produce a count of one sort or another. When they've made their decision, this information is passed to the rest of the integrated circuits.
I was right. Meatballs said 2 of the chips are 555 timers. There you go. There you go. Luna reckons the full thing's just remote controlled. I wouldn't be surprised. Reminds me of the mouse droid. So keep in mind, right, this is 1971. This is 6 years before the first ever Star Wars film. You know what I mean? Doing stuff like this back then was kind of tricky. Nowadays, it's a piece of piss. Like a 10-year-old could put this together for a couple of components you would get on Amazon on next day delivery. But I suppose integrated systems like this were a wee bit harder for your average hobbyist to put together. Although maybe not, because this does look as if it's just made out of paper mache and bits of shite.
Which decide what Z is going to do on the basis of that number. Now, their decision is fed to this central motor control unit, which in turn powers the motors. Z moves backwards, or sideways, or indeed might go to sleep. Happily away from the pet shop, Z is obviously feeling much more at home. He's clearly less temperamental here.
The motors sound as if they're under quite a bit of strain, don't they?
Yeah. If I put something physical in his path, you'll probably see him making a decision. Now, which way is he going to go next? Here we are. Now, he's hit the book. He's backing away. He's had to decide what way he's going to behave.
So I think I was right. Once it reaches an obstacle, it'll back up, pick a random rotation, and then go that way.
But of course, these aren't the only circumstances in which he makes a decision. He's doing it all the time. His two eyes, for instance, are affected by the light in the room. And whilst he's switched on, like any other human being or animal, Z is constantly making his mind up what he's going to do next.
This would be a great introductory project for children. Maybe like that, and like a line following robot or something would be a great wee start to the concept, to like electronics and circuits and stuff. In terms of how good a robot this is, honking. I have shot better robots. Lorcan, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome in. Pish. Dawn says, Paul Roomba downloaded the schematic and said, this sucks. Wait a minute. Exactly. This sounds like a Hoover. I've got an idea. I remember when the Roomba was a thing before it was a vacuum cleaner. We had like a wee educational Roomba when I was in school that nobody used because the teachers didn't know how to use it. Sounds like my knees when I bend down. I've now got the mental image of you bending down, Lost Phil, and I tell you what, I like it. Stop talking, I'm convinced he has a soul. No, I don't think that's a soul. I think that's just a Darth Maul face paint job, and, you know, it's no Roman Thomas, 100%. Twitch alerts are shit, like my memory. Hello, terrible cunt, how's it going? Did you miss the alert, mate? We've had some amount of incredible patter in here. You've missed it all because Twitch haven't alerted you, somebody who's asked to be alerted as to when I go live, and I'm live and you haven't been alerted. And whose fault's that? I think that's Twitch's fault. Reminds me of the turtle robot we had at school hooked up to a BBC micro. I maybe had the same thing, Qatari Links, and I'm sure back then it was called a Roomba. Thank you, beneath the headphones. We had a roamer robot at school. Do you know, maybe I'm thinking of the word roamer, and you would just plot basic coordinates, so it's like forward 5 units and right 5 units or whatever, and you would plot it and it would be like that. It's making decisions. It is making decisions, isn't it? Do you know what's wild? Nowadays, I can make one of these exactly like that behaves and functions exactly like that also runs on batteries exactly like this, but has got the voice and personality of Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I can ask him how best to, like, install a USB port on a thing or care for my sick dog. And it would just look exactly like that. I think I need to do that now. Before we move on, I want to go back and I want to see if he gives any details away about the magazine that this was featured in. I've maybe confused the web page by skipping back. But if If this was out of a magazine, I would quite like to do a wee Google search and see if we can find the magazine and schematics, because that would be exciting, wouldn't it? I've just spilt loads of juice all over myself. I thought there was less. I say juice. It's soda pop. I thought there was more in it than what there was. Right, so this website isn't functional. Can anybody remember if he mentioned which magazine it was in? I don't think he did, and I don't think the website's going to load for me. Aye, so maybe it was a roamer robot that I'm thinking about. Right, let's see if he mentions the magazine. What a shite robot, man, but here we are.
World. Come on. He's a teeny bit temperamental because he doesn't seem to like bright lights. Oh dear.
I've put it to 1.25 speed.
Be cruel to be kind. There, the world's first real live Z. Of course, the two things that Z isn't are real and live. He's a do-it-yourself pet, entirely mechanical and electronic, which any enthusiast...
GDad4211, how you doing? Welcome in. Man's got some colour about him. You're looking well, boss. Thank you very much. It's because it's a different camera. My main camera, for whatever reason, isn't working today. So I've switched it up and I'm on a different camera. But thank you very much for your sub. 56 months. Aye, let's just double check it's no the main camera isn't up and running. So there we go. I wanted, there we are, that 1030 logo to be in front of this. There we go. Okay, let's get back into it. So if you're just joining us, some guy in 1971 made a robot. I want to know if it was from a magazine. If it was, I think he's just about to tell us.
can build at home from instructions in an electronics magazine. The designer, Jerry Brown, is a computer expert, and he's incorporated a...
Just mentioned a magazine. What are the chances of us finding this magazine, right? So, 1971 Z computer magazine brackets Jerry with a G, Jerry with a G, Brown without an E at the end. I think we might have got it. Here is an edition of Practical Electronics for 20 pence. This is from 1973, right, so it's 2 years too late. But it does mention Jerry Brown. So Jerry Brown is a contributor. Look at that. Is that Eurostyle? Looks like it. Excuse me. So Jerry Brown is a contributor to Practical Electronics. Readers of Jerry Brown's fascinating column will have noticed his comment. Blah, blah, blah. So it looks like he's a regular contributor. Electronics Fanatics. This is what I miss. See, in the back of Enthusiast magazines, did anybody have like Amiga magazines, and you could look at the private listings and stuff, like send floppy disks away and get shareware and things? Loved it. Electronics Fanatics, whether beginner or advanced, we offer a range of over 35 super projects. Have you ever wanted to build a machine that learns? Or perhaps make a teaching device? Maybe you fancy the idea of an electronic fantasy machine? I fancy the idea of an electronic fantasy machine. How about a thing capable of reproducing itself? Whatever your electronics turn of mind, there's just got to be loads to interest you in the science fiction world of Boffin. Get your catalogue, send just 15p to Boffin Projects, 4 Cunliffe Road, Stoneleigh, Awol in Surrey. So Jerry Brown, I think, lived at 4 Cunliffe Road in Surrey. Do you think this is out of order? Google Maps. I think if I send 15p to Cunliffe Road in Surrey, I don't think I will get a catalogue back. Found him. Found the guy. So, oh, hold on, that's 2. So I would imagine that's 4. Hold on, there's a tree in the way. I think that wee robot maybe took its first steps in this house somewhere. That's cool, isn't it? That's cool. Anyway, let's see if we can find more about the robot. So I can only find editions of Practical Electronics from 1972 and 1973, right? But if I now type in 1971, and then in quotes, Practical Electronics robot. Oh shit. Look at this. Look at this for a bit of investigative journalism. Boom shakalaka, front page of Practical Electronics in June 1971. It's only Z, the wee robot that we've just been talking about. I wonder if we could get a copy of Practical Electronics from June 1971. Whoever scanned this might have scanned the rest of the book. Peacock, if you're on it, you're on it. Sorry, we've had independent investigators in chat. Have figured it out. Peacock, have you got it? Practical Electronics, July 1971. And is that the same as this? June. This is July. So if we look at the URL 1971-07, what happens if I type in 06 here? What are the chances, man? Yes! Fuck yes! I've not been beat yet, folks. I haven't been beaten yet. Look at this. Just like, oh, do you need your TV tubes rebuilt? Aye. You will never... Fucking hell, 40 quid for a 23-inch tube. Not a chance. For a brand new tube. My God, man. Sorry, I've not been looking at chat for a wee bit because I've just got really excited in boffin projects. This is really something special, isn't it? So, for the rest of the stream, we're just going to be looking through this boffin magazine. Is that okay? But well done, everybody. We did it. We got here. Anna Realtor, I'm using a different camera. I'm using my my phone as a camera just because of streaming difficulties today. So I do look a wee bit different from what I normally would. How cool is all of that, everybody? How cool is all of that? Wee bit of just investigation there. And I'm glad all of that happened as easily if it did, because if it didn't happen as easily as it did, I would have lost interest. Oh, man. 4 of the best words ever to go together in the English language. Teak hi-fi stereo cabinets. £14.95? Jesus Christ. I want to live in the past, man, except from obviously all, like, just the grime and poverty and stuff. Okay. A printed circuit kit. You could make your own printed circuit boards at home. That would involve probably like bromide and stuff like that, do you think? This is exciting, isn't it? There's a copy on eBay for £3.28. Well, we maybe don't need a copy because right here we've got a fantastic scan of the full thing. There's a Sony radio. This looks good. Right, anyway, oh my God, look at this, man. 7-inch portable for 50 quid, 60 quid. Anyway, so let's have a wee look. Dimma switch with an A. I didn't know that was like a trademarked term. Dimma switch. Some interlocking plastic storage drawers. Oh man, there's something about boffin catalogues that just gets me all excited. Right, what's this? What is this advert? So there's a bit of text and underneath it says that's Japanese. And see, looking at it, I don't think it is Japanese. I think that's some fake, bogus Japanese. And I was just looking for my phone there, but I'm using my phone. I was going to ask the woman to identify if this is Japanese or not, because I think they're at it there. I don't think that is Japanese. But I might be wrong. So let's consult the brand new latest and greatest ChatGPT 5. And I will paste the image and I will say, is this Japanese or something somebody's made to impersonate the writing? You know what I mean, computer. It is Japanese. Alright. That'll teach me to be a cynical bastard. It's only the sheep who know. Interesting. Okay, so let's go back to this. That's Japanese. It says, there's something I know that you don't. Well, that's not the interpretation I got. Anyway, this is an advert, and we are not interested in this because we are looking... You listen, everybody, a job in computers is a job for life with like a tape reel as the graphic. That's brilliant. Get all your capacitors and semiconductors and stuff like that from Yates's Electronics. Look at how just good the type's been set and stuff as well. Oh man, I could spend my life in these catalogues. Semiconductors and valves, hi-fi equipment. Garard. This is just great. Multimeters for every purpose. Every purpose. Now a screwdriver that holds the screw for you. I like that idea. Contact 60. Complete stereotype. I mean, this looks entirely just like adverts, is it? Is this just ads? I think this is just ads. Right, what is it? Build yourself a great name health kit. You too can join the millions of satisfied health kit builders who have discovered the easy way to build better products than they could buy. Right, I don't think that caught on. Oh, it's just another advert. Sorry, I burped. I'm so excited. So excited I did a wee burp. Look at that. That's interesting, isn't it? Look at that. With like a diagonal filler. I bet that was from Letraset or something. It's an exciting... But look at this page. That's my favourite page so far. Is this top half of the page. I like it. What's the information in here? Just like wee bits of stuff. Sinclair Project 60? What? I've never heard of that. For 1971. That's cool, isn't it? You could just buy some parts and build it yourself. So you could get a simple battery record player, a mains powered record player, a stereo amp, an outdoor PA system, an indoor PA system, high pass and low pass filters, or just a radio tuner. I didn't know Sinclair did radios. That's interesting, isn't it? Z is on page 484. I'll get there. I'll get there. This is exciting, isn't it, everybody? Anyway, let's see what else we've got. I didn't know Sinclair made amps and stuff. Sinclair Micromatic. That looks fucking cool, man. Britain's smallest radio. Something really nice about that logo still, isn't there? To a lot of people, this will mean a lot. To a lot of other people, it won't mean anything. Mabel says Sinclair Research was a spin-off from Sinclair Radionics. I see. Well, it worked out well for them for a bit, didn't it? I love hearing other languages say, like, have you ever had to explain a saying in English to someone? No easy sometimes, I can imagine. I'm still learning English. I'm a real to exactly the stamped addressed envelope, 100%. Reminds me of my days buying Computer Shopper magazine and building hypothetical supercomputers in square paper, then updating the parts every week as new stuff came out. That's a hobby and a half. Very ad-coded, that hobby, for some reason. Just, I don't know why. Okay, so we're on like page 400 or something. Okay, radio astronomy techniques, that's all cool, man. Radio waves, stuff like that, electromagnetics. Look at this just as a magazine that you could buy. I think I'll show this picture to Rachel, and when she ever says that I'm taking liberties with my projects, I'll just be like, I could be that guy. And she'll be like, aye, alright. Auto battery charger by C.J. Mills. It looks like a horror piece of horror fiction, doesn't it? Auto battery charger and control unit by C.J. Mills. Once there was a battery charger. An auto battery charger. Right, but let's get to the thing that was on Tomorrow's World. Nice bit of brush script. Oh, is this how to make a cabinet? That's pretty cool, man. Some of this stuff's pretty cool. How to build things. People don't build stuff anymore, they just buy stuff. So is it like Z here? An animal approximation utilizing integrated circuits to process optical and tactile sensing together with a random control to give a reasonably lifelike responses. By G. Brown. And we know G is Jerry, don't we? Because we've done some intel. So what have we got here? I've no real idea of what I'm looking at. I can tell it's a capacitor, but what's this chip here? Not a clue. But it looks very, very straightforward to build. These are two motors. That's like just logic switches into it to make it go backwards and reverse and things. Supply A. Not too sure. Load sensing, so that will detect if it crashes into something. Capacitor to ground for some reason. So these two resistors here, is that a voltage splitter? There's a transistor here that is maybe acting like an amp. But I don't know what this is. The circuit description will have as a basis only the area switching for bored. I'm just bored. A Schmitt trigger. So I don't know what a Schmitt trigger is, but I think that'll be when the motors are overloading. It'll act like a switch. So that's a noise generator in the clock. I mean, you could do all of this in about 3 lines of Arduino code nowadays, couldn't you? Look at all the components you need for that. I mean, guys, we could maybe build one of these. Do I want to build one of these? Nope. Nope. Should I build one of these? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Am I going to build one of these? No. But I'll think about it for about 4 weeks, buy all the stuff, try and build it for about 2 or 3 days, and then after that lose all interest and carry it about from house to house. What I really enjoyed though was the thrill of the hunt. See, just being able to see that on Tomorrow's World and then find the name of the guy and all of that sort of stuff. Let's just look at it again now we know the sort of lineage and genesis. That was made by a guy called Jerry. We've just read his article in the magazine. How cool is that, man? That's kind of cool. The word approximation, doing a lot of heavy lifting. Aye. You could do a lot of heavy lifting in the 70s because health and safety hasn't been invented yet. WeShed says, you are that guy. I know, but I don't have as many large objects because I don't own any land. Anyway. Now I have to wait years for the prices to 8 terabytes SSDs to drop exactly. As mental though, isn't it? I'd really enjoyed doing that wee research to find the article that was based on. Thoroughly enjoyed myself. That's some 1030 Hackerman's level stuff, thank you. I was right, the sensing method is grinding the gears, that's why it sounds so rough. Really? I mean, there's multiple other ways they could have done that. I might update it. It does look as if it's just paper mache. I'm no building one of these. I refuse to do it. I'm not doing it. But it does look like a giant paper mache Easter egg, doesn't it? With just gold pen on the top and loads of resistors for the Mohican. I'm unsure where the light sensors come in. So if I was building this, it would be a lot simpler. It would be like a motor controller module, an Arduino, maybe one of the time of flight sensor things for distance. But hey, guess what? I'm no building one of these. But I quite like it as like a wee mascot for the stream. It's cool, isn't it? Interesting wee object. Fred would absolutely destroy that, man. Fred would absolutely rip that to bits. Shall we try watching another episode of Tomorrow's World? But I don't know if this is an episode or just 2 raw reports again. Mike Almond, you're a thrilling hunt. Could use it for R2D2 if you ever get round to it. I mean, busy. Got a list of things to do and all that. We're getting on to R2D2 after the bubble robot. I promise. SMIT is an analog to digital conversion circuit. I see. So is it that that's detecting when the... I mean, I wasn't paying attention. But that's cool, isn't it? Building one of these would help make R2 more autonomous. My God. Just think, actual R2D2 as we know it was built 6 years after this. That's mental, isn't it? Build an electric pet virtually. Here's another idea I had, folks. Over here, and I might not be able to reach it, 2 seconds. Over here-ish. Nah, I can't reach it. It's just, I would have to stand up, and I'm simply not doing that. I bought myself a Tamagotchi. And it's still in its box. And what I was thinking about doing was Twitch does Tamagotchi, right? I'll maybe pitch this to you at another time. However, imagine that you go onto a Twitch channel and all you see is a close-up of a Tamagotchi. And the 3 buttons below it can be actuated via servos. And people in chat would just type A, B, or C to press the button on the Tamagotchi. It could maybe be a bit more clever than that. Maybe there's like sequences that could be redeemed or something. And so we collectively, as the viewers of this thing, have got to see how long we can keep a Tamagotchi alive. I think that would be quite interesting. I think that would be quite cool, man. But I'm not too sure. Hello, Kiro Semuanza1. I hope you're doing good, my man. I hope you're doing good, sir. Welcome in, sir. Wonderful to have you in. And a real I didn't put sound on that video just for the second thing. Jamcore, it had like resistor Mohicans. I don't know if you saw it. Anyway. Could print Roomba skins, 100%. Thanks for these follows coming in, folks. I just saw a wild card trick that only took a few minutes to show. Fancy it? Aye, fuck it. I was going to watch another episode of Tomorrow's World, but hey. Carla says, I've got one of them, but it's called Finch, and it's me making sure I'm the one that's eating and drinking. I forgot what we're talking about. Oh, a Tamagotchi. Right, so you're like a Tamagotchi for yourself? Is it an app? So I don't have the sensation of thirst. I'm rarely thirsty, right? And what I really need, and it'll sound stupid and infantile, but I need something to remind me to like drink water. So that seems cool. That does seem pretty cool. I don't know, Martin, if Tamagotchis can live forever, but I think we could do it. I don't know if we should do it, but I think we should do Twitch does Tamagotchi. Right, everybody, do you want to see a magic trick? Learn the best self-work. I don't like self-working card tricks, man, because they usually involve maths and counting. And as soon as you ask a spectator to do maths or counting, they just check out, man, and they try to get to the end of the trick as soon as they possibly can. And as soon as it's concluded, they'll try and walk away from you. So for that reason, I typically don't like self-working card tricks. However, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. I will give you a minute of my time.
I'm going to teach you the best self-working card trick in the world. So grab a deck of cards. Let's begin. First thing you want to do is to remove the 4 aces or any 4 of a kind that you like. Okay. Next thing
Do you see how easily he removed the 4 aces? What a magician.
you do is to take 12 cards. You don't even need the rest of the cards. Okay. That's 3, 6, 9, and 12. Spread these 12 cards on a table like this and let your spectators insert the 4 aces anywhere that they like. Okay. Square the cards up like this and ask them to give it a shuffle. Next thing you want to do is this. We're going to create more chaos by doing this. You deal 1 card down, okay?
It's going to flip some of them upside down.
Next card, you flip. Doesn't matter if it's an ace or a regular card, okay? Continue this process all the way until you
I think my nephew showed me this one.
finish with the rest of the packet.
And I think maybe he learned it for this guy.
Alright? Square the cards up and then you can spread the cards again to show that, you know, some of the aces are now face down and then more cards are face up. Square the cards up again, and this time round, do it 2 at the same time, giving your audiences a choice whether they want to.
B. Dolan asks, have you considered a big stupid water bottle with a sippy straw? Yes, I've considered a big stupid water bottle with a sippy straw. But I keep losing the water bottles, don't I? Leaving them in cars, leaving them in work, leaving them in the loft. I should have one right here, but I don't, because I'm terrible. I'm terrible at being a human.
To deal, or they want to flip. Okay, so they say deal, deal, flip, 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 deal, flip. Doesn't matter, right? Square the cards up. Again, you can spread to show that there are more chaos now, right? Square it up like this. Next thing is very important. You deal from left to right, like this, and then you go right to left to right again, and then right to left. Okay. Now they can choose any row, any column, and you will flip them inwards until.
Get a sippy tether. Aye. Do you think you could get, like, you know, a catheter? Do you think you could get one of them for going in the way? Like a drip? Maybe I just need a drip.
You have 1 packet left. Let me give you an example. Say they choose this one, you will flip this
It's awfully process driven, isn't it? It's very process driven, this, isn't it?
entire row like this. Okay. If they choose this column, you will flip them over like this. If they choose this one, you will flip them over like this. Okay, if they choose the bottom one like this, you will flip them over like this. Okay, and then one more time like this. Okay, and then one more time like this. Right, now you square the cards up like that. After all the shuffling, the chaos, the flipping and all that kind of thing, all you have to do now is just wave your hand, snap your.
I really hope this is like an anti-joke. I hope that right at the end he's like, ah, go fuck yourself. And is that your card? I really hope it's something like that. See if it's just the 4 aces are normal again.
Fingers, all the cards will turn face down, all except for the 1, 2, 3, 4 aces.
That's magic, everybody. That is definite magic. That is definite magic. Thank you very much for that. I can't believe we found the house where that robot was built. Really? Really? I'm excited, everybody. Okay, shall we watch the first part? Because I need to be in bed in about 20 minutes, right? So this is what we're doing. I'll try not to involve any interruptions.
He's a student at the University of Florida.
Hold on, let's see the context of who this guy is, man.
He's a student at the University of Florida.
All right, so
His
we...
name is Joe Ingrazier, and he's totally blind. He has been since birth. Joe is the center of a scientific experiment.
He's got a bit of 1030 energy about him, doesn't he?
Because he has the most amazing memory. As a child, Joe earned his extra pocket money by betting other children that he could tell the type and year of any coin by the sound it made when they spun it on the stones.
That's a Thomas Jefferson nickel.
He still does this to amuse his fellow students.
I love that. That's brilliant. That's an excellent, excellent trick.
The extraordinary thing is that Joe only has to listen to the ring once, and he never forgets it.
That's a trick, obviously, though. He's being cued.
By understanding how Joe's memory works and its connection with his acute sense of hearing, it may be possible to train other people to
Got some interruptions in the broadcast here.
students. The extraordinary thing is that Joe only has to listen to the ring once, and he never forgets it. By understanding how Joe's memory works and its connection with his acute sense of hearing, it may be possible to train other people to memorize things in the same way. It may even mean we could use our sense of hearing to greater effect. Use it far more as we use our eyes at the moment, and they can take in up to 7 separate pieces of information at any one time. And so a lecturer of psychology, Dr. Harold Hawkins, is trying to analyze Joe's memory scientifically and discover how...
That's funny. He's obviously doing a trick, right? And this apparatus won't get you to the result.
it operates.
Okay, I gave you 851, and you reproduce.
Also, the trick, if we're to follow the magician logic here, is that he's got an excellent memory, but identifying a sound of a coin, identifying a coin by the sound it makes when it's flipped on stones, doesn't really have anything to do with memory, does it?
855.
It's not too difficult to recall a single sound tone, but if scientific conclusions are to be drawn from Joe's abilities, then observations must follow a definite pattern, starting with easy problems and leading on to far more complex ones.
Okay, I gave you 926. You reproduce.
Do you think he's got the gift of being pitch perfect? Because there, it just sounds like it looks like he's remembering a frequency, doesn't it? Reminds me a wee bit of Daniel Tammet. Have we spoke about Daniel Tammet on the stream?
928. Okay, Joe, now I'm going to present 3 tones to you in succession. And as soon as I finish presenting the 3rd tone, I will give you a 3-digit number. You're to count backwards by 3s from that number until I tell you to stop. And then I will specify one of the 3 tones, and you're to...
Hi, Hammy, how you doing? Welcome in. We are watching Tomorrow's World from 1971. This guy here is blind and apparently has got an incredible memory for sound. So the examiner is giving him a series of sound problems to solve to do with memory. But as he was introduced, he did a trick, and I think it was a trick, where he could apparently identify a coin just purely by how it sounded when somebody spun it. And I think that's cool, man. See, as a concept for a trick or something, that's pretty cool.
reproduce it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Right.
Here we go.
By making Joe carry out a mathematical problem which requires constant calculation, like counting backwards by 3s from a given number for a given period, on this occasion 30 seconds, it prevents him from going over in his mind the 3 tones he's just heard.
I want to know how well I would do. So I think I can remember those tones. They sound different coming out my voice than what they are in my head.
548, 545, 542, 539, 536, 533.
To actively memorize anything under these conditions is extremely difficult. There aren't many people who could do this. Joe can recall the tones
Mr. K. Watkins, exactly. I want massive dials on my machines.
after a gap of many.
Terrible Clint. I think the coin thing was a trick. I don't think this stuff's a trick. I think he genuinely can discern frequencies and stuff, but I think the coin thing was a wee bit of showmanship in there.
days.
503, 500, 497, 494, 491, 488, 485, 482, 4...
Okay, reproduce the middle tone.
The middle one. Okay.
Right, sorry if there's any dogs listening or whatever. I'll turn
On
this
this
down
occasion, he selected
a
the
wee
right
bit.
frequency to within one cycle. But Joe's memory is not just for the pitch and frequency of an electronic tone or tossed coin. For 2 years, he read engineering, and now he's studying mathematics. He can memorize many forms of facts and figures instantly, and then record.
It's interesting, right now we have got like memory championships with people that learn pi to like the 15,000th decimal place, or people that will memorise binary, or people that will memorise decks of cards or whatever, and it's a thing. Whereas here, I think this is maybe in the infancy. Look at the package on the tight trousers, man. But I think that they're just, like back then, when was Kim Peek doing all that sort of stuff? That was like mid-70s. I wonder if this guy, not that he's comparable, but just in terms of exhibiting apparently superhuman ability.
Call them months later. From a complicated circuit diagram, which is read over to him only once, to a girlfriend's telephone number.
Say, Joe, let's try out your memory for telephone numbers. Each one of us will give you our telephone number in rapid succession, and then we'll talk a while, and then at some later point, I'd like for you to try to recall all of the telephone numbers.
Well,
okay?
I'll see if I can do it.
Okay. Doug, why don't you start out?
Okay, 2349152.
Doug just doxing his phone number on international television there. Doesn't care. Doesn't matter.
2381630.
This again is a very difficult test. Joe can in fact be given a 30.
If you would like to learn about memory techniques, I've read a lot of books about memory techniques. I've read more than I've actually tried to practice it myself. There is a fantastic introductory book called Moonwalking with Einstein, because a lot of these techniques are hundreds of years old, and every couple of decades they are hashed up again but packaged in a new form, and usually they are sold by people promising that it'll improve your work life and improve your sex life and everything in between. Whereas the book Moonwalking with Einstein had all the good bits in there, but without any of the bad bits, and it's tied together in a narrative about a guy just investigating all the stuff. I recommend the book. You will learn how to, or rather you will learn how others can codify memories into images and stuff, because you will remember an image. You won't remember a number unless you convert it to an image beforehand.
A digit number and instantly quote it back in reverse order.
I still, for example, remember 1354 is the entry code to my mate's flat, because when I was looking into mnemonic stuff, I kept forgetting his entry code, and using the, what system, the key system or something like that, you can translate numbers into phonetic sounds. So it's like P or B, not P or B, but P or B. So 1354 translates to tm-fur, and you can put vowels in there. So 1354 is Tom Far, right? And all I had to do then was associate Tom Far with the location. So, and this will sound daft, but I committed it to memory, standing at the location where I usually type in the thing, and I visualised Tom York, far away, Tom Far, 1354. And ever since I've done that, it's been in my head. That was about 15 years ago. Memory techniques work.
On this occasion,
however, you need to put the effort into putting it in your head, because if you don't do that, it won't go in.
He's remembering 35 digits.
Okay, so then I'd like to in some way occupy your attention for a while.
Yeah.
And then later on I'll ask you to reproduce the numbers.
One objective of Dr. Hawkins' work is to establish a baseline for further research. There's very little known scientifically about unusual memories. And remember, Joe is totally blind. He's never seen anything. He doesn't have a photo.
Some Dirt says, do you think the people that excel at memorization are strategic or are naturally attuned? There's definitely a strategy. See what I've spoke about there. There's also like a memory palace techniques that's really good for remembering lists of stuff. Anybody who's competing at a memory level technique is certainly using techniques that have been written about, or sometimes their own techniques. So the book that I referenced there, Moonwalking with Einstein, what he added, it was a guy called Joshua Forer, and what he added was something called a person-action object form of Loki, which is very sophisticated and very, very cool. But I won't go into detail here because I'll still be talking about it by the time this is finished. But I highly recommend it, Moonwalking with Einstein. Finally, a memory tool to help me remember sex things. There you go. Well, people were using these memory techniques for ages, and it was the Victorians that stamped it out. So a lot of this stuff came from Greeks and, philosophers and writers and stuff. But it was the Victorians that stamped it out because, right, remember the image of Tom far that I just said? I visualised Tom York far away, and because of a system that I pre-learned, I knew that that image would be applicable to that scenario, right? However, images that you invent in order to represent numbers, right, usually they don't stay in your head. If it's something mundane, like Tom York far away, Tom far, usually that's not memorable. So what people are invited to do is make these fabricated images suggestive, make them sexy, or make them violent, or make them like loud, or something like that, so as that you remember that thing. And it can be visceral. It can be like you're trying to remember your shopping list, so you've associated that with a journey that you take, and the journey starts in your bed. So when you get out of bed, you put your feet on the floor, but your feet just have got custard everywhere, and there's custard getting between your toes, and you can feel it, and you take a moment to like commit that feeling, because custard's the first item in your shopping list, for example, right? The Victorians didn't like that. They thought that was like witchy pish, being able to visualize something or being able to make something violent. So if you've got an image you need to remember of a thing disappearing, like a Coke can disappearing, you can't just picture it disappearing because nobody's going to remember that. You need to imagine it getting like blown up and blown to pieces, and maybe a shard comes towards you and you need to duck out the way and all of that. Victorians didn't like people using that level of imagination. So they just stomped out the memory techniques that people have been using for hundreds of years before, and developed like the rote memory system that we still use today, where if you want to learn a sequence of numbers, you just pure like kind of Victorian school child, man, write it out multiple times until it goes in. However, if you aren't concerned about conducting business with the spirits, or if you don't think the spirits exist, then you can use the mad Greek methods of memory, and I think we should get that back. I think it's something the Victorians stole from us, and I think we should get that back and get familiar enough with it to teach our children.
Graphic memory, he has instant recall.
You think you still remember the telephone numbers?
Most of them.
Could you go around and tell us the numbers we gave to you?
I don't know if I'll do it in the right order, but I'll try. 234-9152, 238-1630, 971-0585.
That's cool, meatballs. I'm just reading your messages, everybody.
And I skipped 876-3409. I think that came before the 839. Now that I remember. Was it 3409?
Turbo Clint says, there's a shrub outside our kitchen window. My wife tells me its name once a month for 12 years now. I need this technique. WeShed earlier says that I have never been able to remember names. So what you need to do for remembering names is put that information in your brain. So the next time you hear somebody's name, they'll be like, hiya, my name's Tom. You shake their hand, you say, hello, Tom, my name is blah, blah, blah. If you say the name immediately after they've said it, you've got a higher likelihood of it actually going into your brain. Quite a lot of people think they have bad memories. Actually don't have bad memories, they just don't do the first bit of it, of like sticking that information in your head. Because unless you stick it in there, you won't be able to get it out. Am I right, Raiders? Eh? Welcome in, folks. I'm on my phone today, so my the camera quality's not as good. I usually look fantastic, and I don't look fantastic today, everybody. And I don't look as fantastic. Welcome in, Scott. Welcome in, Scott Raiden people. I hope you're all doing brilliant. I'm 1030. I go by he, him. Sound. Get ready and get bubbled. Look at this as a twofer, everybody. It's a twofer. And your face is back up there again. Thanks very much, Scott. Thanks for the raid and for the bubbling. If you're just joining us, we are watching an episode of Tomorrow's World from 1971 where this blind guy can remember phone numbers that he has heard one time. He's apparently got like a superhuman memory, and we're just talking about memory techniques and all of that sort of stuff. Custard is wispy pish. Did I just say that? I guess I just said that. Welcome in, Scott. How are you doing? I hope you're doing fantastic, and thank you very much for the raid and the sub. What a legend. What an absolute legend.
Joe was asked if he has to go over in his own mind things that he's just heard before they become installed in his memory.
No, I really don't. Well, depending on what it is, if it's a long, complicated circuit, like with, let's say, you know...
I think this guy is atypical to like memory athletes. You know what I mean? I think this guy might be more in the era of like Kim Peek or whoever, where it's like a natural ability.
15 or 20 transistors. I'll have to rehearse something like that, you know, in parts. I'll remember it in parts. But ordinarily, like if it's just letters and numbers, I'll just...
We're just on the phone today, so this is just my mobile phone, and it's not synced. I don't have any control over shutter speed or anything on that, and it's mainly just because my main actual camera decided not to work when I switched it on.
Put that in, you know, clean.
He looks like somebody. Who does he look like? Actor guy? The attorney? What's he called? One toke over the line. One toke over the line. What's his name again? Just admiring the shape of your skull. Do you know who I'm on about? Well, it looks like him.
And it's in, basically. I won't have to go over something simple like that.
And are you able to forget as easily as you remember?
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. The guy that isn't the main guy. Fuck's sake. Del Toro, Benicio Del Toro. One toke over the line. That guy. Oh, look at it. You know what I mean? Wee bit of a Del Toro vibe for the man. I'm just saying. Could be brothers.
Remember.
Yeah, forgetting, if it's not really, you know, deeply embedded, like I've known it since I was little, I couldn't forget the ABCs
You're playing Death Stranding 2, Jesus Christ.
or, you know, the Lord's Prayer or something like that. But, like, let's say a phone number that I just, you know, like stored, let's say a couple of years ago, and I find out it's changed. I remember the new number, and I just forget the old one, and later on, when I try to remember it, I can't remember it for the life of me because I've sort of disposed of it.
I've heard that memory athletes, if they've got a memory palace and they've filled it with objects to remember a shopping list or something like that, after the shopping list is used, they need to then go into the memory palace and destroy all the objects so that memory palace is fresh and clean for the next thing that they need to remember. That's kind of interesting.
In the past, Joe's memory has sometimes led him into trouble. By memorizing the frequencies and rhythms of the various tripping out circuits in the telephone system, he's developed a technique of first dialing certain codes and then obtaining long-distance calls by whistling. It's meant he hasn't had to put any coins in the slot.
That's phone freaking, isn't it? But just doing it via whistling? Jesus Christ, man. I'm surprised he didn't get locked up for that. I want to be this guy's mate.
This is the BBC New York. The office is closed at present, but if you wish to leave a message, please do so after the tone.
Last year, he was told if he didn't give up the habit, he'd have to leave the university. On the other hand, the telephone...
I like that wee inset shot there. Look at this.
Last year, he was told if he didn't give up the habit, he'd have to leave the university. On the other hand, the telephone company offered him a job. Studies of memory are now being carried out in several universities, some of them in Britain, but few are with subjects as unusual...
Aye, Captain Crunch, but without the whistle.
...or indeed as willing as Joe. The first paper on Dr. Hawkins' findings should be finished soon, and it could prove to be one more step in the desperately urgent struggle to understand the intricate workings of the human mind.
Admiral Crunch now. That was amazing. So I think what I've stumbled across isn't a real episode of Tomorrow's World, but rather like the rushes or the full packages of different things that would be used in a right episode of Tomorrow's World. So we don't have any presenters or intro music or whatever. We've just got isolated packages. But that's quite interesting because we've got like things like this, wee bits of graphics at the start that usually you wouldn't see. I used to phone my pal and drop a bar of soap down the toilet and then flush it. Alright. This is going to be miserable, isn't it? These poor animals. Let's see how it goes. Remember, this is television from 1971. As soon as it gets pish, as soon as he mentions the word abattoir, kill floor, fetus, anything like that, stoma, do you know about that? Don't look it up if you don't. Don't look it up if you don't. This is going to go south really quickly. Mark my words. If it does, I won't show it to you, right? I hope it's a story about how technology have made cows happy. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's a happy story. Let's find out.
This is a brucellosis-free herd. The cows will not be allowed to come into contact with other animals. Many cattle markets can't at the moment handle registered brucellosis-free animals because of this restriction. But many farmers whose herds are not officially free of the disease want to buy only uninfected cows. Brucellosis is a complex disease, and unfortunately it's usually impossible to tell from a normal inspection whether an animal is infected or not. A laboratory test is required.
I like this guy's attire, man. I want to cut about looking as sharp as that.
The most usual being known as the Rose-Bengal test. Official testing for the brucellosis scheme involves...
Do you think I could cut about like that without getting my head kicked in? I think maybe.
3 negative tests over a period of 8 months.
I don't want to watch a story about cows that aren't well. I don't want to watch it, man. We are getting some close-ups, though. Don't want to deprive you of this content. We are getting like close-ups of like medicine-y stuff, vials. Like that looks cool, doesn't it? Look at that.
The success or otherwise of the test depends on the exact amount of antigen and blood serum being mixed. So the dispenser has a special top with a dropper nozzle incorporated. This allows only 0.03 microliters to drop onto the test plate. Now the blood sample, which has had time to separate, is ready. A calibrated capillary tube draws off an equal amount of blood serum. The serum drop is placed on the test plate opposite the antigen.
$50 vampires? Vampires? I read that correctly. That box contains 50 vampires. Vampires. Let me read it a third time to make sure that I'm not seeing things. It still says the word vampires.
Each test requires a new clean stirrer, and the test chemical and the serum are mixed together. The test plate is now rocked for exactly 4 minutes, after which time a result is obtained.
Shit like that just doesn't seem scientific at all, does it? Like, fuck about with it for exactly 4 minutes.
A negative result, even without granules or clumps, but a positive result has an unmistakable granular appearance.
Well, this is negative, all right.
Right, well, it's fine. Fine, thank you.
No single test for brucellosis can be regarded
He was a bundle of laughs. Want to imagine working with that guy?
as conclusive, whether performed by a vet in the field, as we've seen, or in a laboratory. Nevertheless, it would be most unlikely that a veterinary surgeon would advise a farmer to bid for an animal that had given a positive indication. Apart from the ministry official testing scheme, the new kit could be a useful step towards the eradication of brucellosis.
Right. I wonder if these are the video packages that didn't make it onto TV, because that was boring as fuck. The one that we saw about the robot wasn't Tomorrow's World quality, and then the one that went on for 20 minutes with the guy drawing diagrams of sperm, I don't think was TV worthy either. So we've maybe found the dregs of Tomorrow's World. Okay, here comes 2. Is this string going to be used to slaughter an animal in some way? Because honestly, I'm not up for it. This looks like a very grim frame, and I'm worried as to what's out of shot. Will it be something innocent and fine, or will it be something very troubling that we'll remember for weeks to come? I think we're fine. I think we're fine. I think we're okay. Yep, we're good. We're good.
That's about the speed a car-carrying train will enter and leave the Channel Tunnel.
Yes.
Here at Leeds University's Civil Engineering Department,
Yes.
the team have been looking into just what does happen to the air in a tunnel when a train enters it at anything from 80 to 150 miles an hour. They know that the Channel Tunnel will be 3 separate bores, the 2 outer tubes carrying trains and the centre tube for service and access. These transducers measure the changing pressure inside the model tunnels as the train passes. All the tunnels are cross-connected, allowing air to circulate freely from one tunnel to the other as trains enter and leave.
Fuck Albert says the dregs of Tomorrow's World is absolutely what we're living through right now. To be fair, it's all came true. Cows are still fucking ill and getting mistreated. The Channel Tunnel did happen. Whatever this guy's up to, it worked. And we've got wee shitty Roomba robots kicking about. The dregs of Tomorrow's World has came true.
A nylon cord is used to whip the train down the tube. After this has been carefully laid out, the train itself is checked for free running. 130 feet away at the other end of the tunnel, the winding gear is started.
Sometimes I do need a lab coat, don't I? I think I need a lab coat, one of the bonnets, and like a wee smock or whatever it's called. I don't know. Series of tubes. That no. So Beadle, the Channel Tunnel is a series of tubes, but you're thinking about the internet, aren't you? What senator was it that said that? And then years later, everybody was like, "Do you know what? He's actually right. He is actually right. It's sort of how the internet does work."
All clear, and within seconds, the train reaches top speed. The transducers feel the air pressure leap as the train passes, and as it roars into daylight, the results are already rolling off the recorder. This readout gives David Henson, the chief researcher, a practical picture of...
Do you think there are many fields nowadays within the world of like physics and stuff that still use scale miniature models to find stuff out? Like obviously that's a real model, the scale is reduced, but the speed will be comparable to like if it was at the real scale and stuff like that. And they were using like real world data that isn't really real world data because it's like a scale miniature to then inform how a scaled up version will work. Do you think that is still done, or do you think we now can just generate, or simulate rather, it would be simulate like that environment in the first place? You know what I mean?
The events in...
Nah, George Bush didn't say a series of tubes. It was one guy who came and went, and I've no seen him before or heard from him since. It was like some senator guy or something like that.
Inside the tunnel during that dramatic 4-second journey.
But I might be wrong.
The next stage for Henson is to compare this to the computer's theoretical prediction of the same journey. If the computer prediction matches his readout, then he knows that all the figures relating to wind speeds and vacuums inside a full-size tunnel will be correct. He recalls his program from the computer memory bank and waits for the prediction. Accurate figures are needed because the super trains that will use the channel may find themselves pushing up to 9 tons of air ahead of them at over 150 miles an hour. This means...
Do you see with the Japanese maglev planes? planes, trains. They are like planes, but they made the nose just very conical, so the front of it's almost like a needle, and it radically helps. Didn't Tomorrow's World do this before? The problem of people getting sucked off, because you remember we made a big joke about the term sucked off, but it was about people standing close to the train on a platform, and if a high-speed train comes in, folk can get, sucked off. I'm sure that was on Tomorrow's World, but like a more recent, as in 20 years after this episode, maybe.
Men working in the surface tunnel could face 70-mile-an-hour gales every 10 minutes from passing trains. A graph plotter connected to the computer...
There you go. Japanese copied the kingfisher's beak as nature was solving the same issue. There you go.
...draws out the predicted curves.
I'm sure we watched it a few weeks ago.
And Henson can see immediately that the two readouts tally nicely. Next month, he'll present his findings in a paper to the Institute of Civil Engineers. From these facts, a tunnel could be built with all the critical factors already known. So next time your ears go pop when the 750 rumbles into the tunnel, just think about this. Folkestone to Calais in 11
Would you call that undercranked or overcranked? Because it's definitely shot on film, isn't it? That would be undercranked.
...quarter minutes, down a tunnel 28 miles long.
The colour in this package really didn't hold up, did it? Very poor colour. Sorry, I've just realised it was a bit too loud for you there. Right, so final package. Let's hope it doesn't have any gore or anything. Oh, a musical package, everybody.
In the hi-fi, multi-channel stereo 70s, there are still a few individualists who appreciate an original vintage sound.
That's a face of a guy that appreciates an original vintage sound and a half if I haven't saw one.
But even the best old records have disadvantages, and so this man restores and improves their sound quality.
The first thing to do is to transfer the sound to tape, when, of course, every sound occupies a piece of tape. Now, if there's an unwanted piece of sound, then this can be cut, provided it's not too large, without the ear noticing the result.
Surely that will be a destructive process, though, if you record the record to tape, make an edit, and then cut a record again. That is surely a lossy process. So when he says it's improving the sound quality...
It's practically impossible to alter a sound when it's a fraction of an inch in a record groove. But if you transfer music and crackles onto...
It is Kevin Eldon. It absolutely is Kevin Eldon. It is as if we were watching an episode of Look Around You.
Tape, you can alter it much more easily. Once all the imperfections are recorded onto tape, the gramophone is...
Donny Boy asks, does this English accent exist anymore? Not really, Donny Boy. This is like a transatlantic English accent that... Or well, particularly, like, maybe not this one. This one's proper English, but it would be like... the transatlantic accent is kind of similar. Let me hear it a bit.
...is laid aside. The usual technique of editing tape is to stop the recorder.
I think this is firmly English. The transatlantic accent is what we heard when the blind guy phoned BBC America, and the woman's like, hello, this is BBC New York. And it was like a mishmash of, I think it was around about the time the phone was invented, or radio or something, that became popular, and it was like an accent that could be understood by both sides of the pond. Whereas I think this guy here is just a posh English accent.
And mark the point to be cut with a wax pen.
Sort of voice that would say sexual harassment instead of sexual harassment. That sort of guy.
The tape is then cut on a solid block of metal. But this homemade...
He almost just discovered a genre there. See if he continued fucking about with the... He almost discovered a new musical genre there in 1970, whenever this was. See if he was just a tiny bit higher. My God. Nearly, mate. Keep
But
going.
this
Keep going.
homemade editing block has
Fucked
the
it.
playing head from a tape recorder mounted in the middle, so that when tape is drawn slowly backwards and forwards under pressure, each sound is reproduced at a slow speed. Every crackle can be made to sound like a lengthy plop, and its duration can be marked easily.
Did he just say bastard? Did you hear that? I'm sure the guy just went bastard. Turn it up. I'm sure he just said bastard.
Now that the crackle is accurately located and measured, it's removed by special scissors with a blade that snips out just 1/12 of an inch.
What was a 1/12 of an inch? The fuck, man, make me do that.
The sound that's gone lasted about 1/90th of a second.
What? Decimal system, guys. What is a 90th of a second? Come on now, behave yourself.
When the tape is joined together again, the human ear will not usually discern that anything is missing. Even several hundred joins like this will only shorten a piece of music by a few seconds. The only time that a crackle must be left in is if it coincides precisely with the first moment of a note. If he cuts that, he loses the sound.
Sometimes I'll work on a record for hours, sometimes days, sometimes months.
But to bring a sound from the turn of the century to the standards of the 1970s, there comes a point at which a man physically editing the tape can do no more.
He's fucked, ain't he? Look at that guy, man. He's been doing this job far too long. Far too long. Also, he's inhaled some lead. Lead solder. You can tell, can't you? He's only 17 years old. Did you know that? He isn't, I don't know.
Now the electronic control of sound frequencies takes over.
With this instrument, I can selectively increase or decrease the effect of various frequency bands, and so change the character of a recording, either advantageously or disadvantageously.
Tape is absolutely wild, isn't it? See all the stories of like the Beatles with tape loops and pencils and stuff like that. Just a lot of fannying about, isn't it? And it easily could just break at any point.
Already the sound quality has improved enormously. But sometimes a disc that looks perfectly preserved sounds quite atrocious. It could be that the original recording was made with the grooves cut at an unusual angle. The expert may simply recommend that for good sound reproduction, the needle should run along the side of the groove.
Am I being silly? But would it not be easy to just go and buy a new copy of the record?
And even if the worst happened,
rather than paying him? Because it looks as if he's doing all right for himself. He's got all this kit and things, you know? He can afford his cigarettes and his healthy beard. So rather than pay him 3 days to fix a scratch on your record, unless it's like limited edition stuff, but back then, records basically just got invented, innit? So just go to HMV, get a new copy if you've scratched it.
and the acetate shrinks from the surface of this rare jazz record, it is still possible to recreate the sound.
I imagine showing this guy Audacity or like Ableton or anything.
An incredible jigsaw puzzle may now take several months to complete. At the end, a glued and restored record will have even more violent crackles than usual. Then another marathon taping and editing session will start again. If a note is lost or scratched out, an identical one can usually be recorded from another section. And if that's impossible...
No. Piss off. Really? Do you want to sample them?
I believe that if I don't do it, no one else is going to do so, either because they haven't the time and patience now, or because tomorrow may be too late.
Good on them, that's what I say. That's what I say. Some guys, rather than go to therapy, will take the most convoluted, excruciating process to remove a scratch from a vinyl record, even if that involves replicating the exact note using a bassoon. The fuck is that? Looks as if you smoke something out of that. What are you building in Python, Luna? I've been in Python quite a bit recently. Right, I think we've maybe got one more thing. Sorry, was the audio bad there? Oh, remember... Shut up. Sorry, folks. It's a double raid. Hello, Fox Comedy. How's it going? Welcome in. What's happening? That's right. If you raid, you get your picture there, you get your name there, and you get a bubble blast. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? Welcome in, man. How's it going? I hope you're doing good. If you are a raider and you don't know me, you should follow me because I'm sound. Also, my name's 1030 and I go by he, him as well. But mainly you should follow me because I'm sound. Today, what we're doing, and if you follow, you get your picture up there, but it's only for a couple of seconds. So if you don't want your picture up there, it's only for a couple of seconds. But all right, how you doing? Today, what we're doing is looking at old vintage episodes of Tomorrow's World and ripping the piss right out it. We've seen a lot of cool stuff tonight already. We just visited this guy who is out his box, man. The guy's absolutely cunted, and he is repairing records cracks using like bassoons and things. That's what you've missed. So it's all excellent stuff. Also, please excuse my camera. My actual camera is not working, so I'm just doing this on my phone. But I've usually got that. It's usually all better. It's usually brilliant. But welcome in, Fox Comedy. And we're not too far from an S. Clarko raid as well. So everybody, how's it even going, man? Desiree just said, oh my god, this is your fucking ancestor, this guy. It might be. Stoucher, how you doing? Thank you very much for the Prime sub. That's a cool profile picture. Stoucher, thanks very much for 15 months. How's it going? By the way, it's a good wee reminder, Prime subs exist. So listen, here is the deal. If you've got an Amazon Prime sub, I can use that to pay my rent. So just like Stoucher just did there, you know, you click a thing and all of that. You might have forgotten that your Prime sub's ready because maybe you use Twitch Turbo or something like that. I don't even know. Prime subs. Stoucher, thank you very much for giving us your Prime sub. Welcome in. How's it going? I think we've got one more video package on Tomorrow's World. Let's just hope this does... Look at that. Insert microfiche. Oh, hold on. We've got a cat on the screen. Somebody followed in the profile picture as a cat. Do you think it's possible for me to adjust my exposure here so that we... Nope, that doesn't do anything. Well. Auto exposure locked. Well. Let's go back in. I just had to show you the cat. Right, everybody, last package of the night. Fox, how you doing, man? Studio chatter. Edinburgh Fringe run completed? Fucking yes, man. That's great news. Congratulations. I might be in Edinburgh. Fucking hell, man. Sorry, I keep... Shit. They really keep sending us some really unbroadcastable sounds. Right, here we are. Is it going to do a big loud beep again?
For storing large amounts of information.
You talk about microfilm. The words you just missed there was, the invention of microfilm has provided the method for...
In a limited space. It's an
storing information in a limited space.
Ideal system for library and museum archives.
I've got a feeling this one's going to be pish. Got a feeling this one's going to be pish. Might be wrong.
For instance, where complete books can be filmed and miniaturized. However, its use in offices has up to now been limited because there has been no simple way of building up microfilm files for day-to-day correspondence applications. Now, this problem has recently been solved by a British firm who have developed an apparatus that make
Apparatus. Has any of you used microfiche film? It's cool, man. In our library back in the day, a lot of the newspapers were stored on microfiche. And it was amazing. Like, well, he'll show you. It's a projection on a wee screen. It feels like you're in Blade Runner or something.
Is it possible to record on one piece of film all the documents relating to a particular deal, even though the deal may take many months and many letters to complete?
You finished on the best show of the run, so I'm delighted. That's excellent news, Fox Comedy. But is there not a part of you that thinks that if you finished on the best show of the run, like if the run kept getting better and better and better, imagine you had one extra day, right? Imagine how better the show would be tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? Think about that. That would keep me up at night if I was a professional comic. But I'm not, so I'll sleep soundly.
On this one sheet, for example, are 60 letters which were individually recorded on
This one's bad, isn't it?
the day each one came into the office over a period of 2 years. Only a small square of the film is exposed and developed for each document which is recorded. But as you can see...
And a realtor, the escape room is open. It didn't have a big grand opening, and I didn't visit as a streamer, but it's open, and you can visit it. It's called Nomad Escape, and it's in Merchant Square area in Glasgow. I think they've now got 3 separate rooms open. Yes, it's Bland might be in chat, and if you are in chat, feel free to like say all the information, but I don't think you are in chat. Fox Comedy says, there is no part of me thinking that. I've learned the hard way, the last day of the Fringe is usually the worst day of everyone's run. So ending early is my little life hack, and at work, that's class, man. See, at some point in my life, I want to do a magic show at the Fringe. I feel like it's silly that I haven't done it already.
The images
I've got no aspirations of being good or anything, but I want to have had done it.
are far larger than the ultra-small microdot miniaturization of some microfilm techniques, but this system is far more practical for normal office use. Because the unexposed film is...
Oh, it's fucking boring, man. It's dead boring. And microfiche is cool, but you're just making it really dull, man. I'm tired. What time is it?
is sensitive to ultraviolet
Oh, right.
light, this camera would normally be installed in an area lit by yellow light. But to demonstrate it in the studio, we have protected the film from the very bright television lights with this orange transparent jacket. Incidentally, if I put it down here, you will be able to see that the jacket itself is coded.
I love a close-up with a pointing device in it. I absolutely love it.
Here are 3 documents already recorded, and the indication is that the next available space is 4A, and you'll see why that's important in just a moment.
A4, I believe.
Load the film into the machine is really quite simple, but
So it's like an optical printer, essentially, like a demagnifier, and it prints onto film. I must say, this one is really boring and pish, isn't it? Let's just skip ahead and see if we've got any good close-ups of like the machinery or whatever. I mean, that is cool technology. It really is cool technology, especially when it comes as a reel as well. But he's not making it look very cool, so I guess we'll skip ahead. I mean, that close-up of him pressing a button,
push this.
that's kind of good, that. Look at that. Do you know what I mean? Well seen that? Yep. Okay, let's go. Exposed deserves all caps, but even the other ones don't deserve even a capital first letter. You know what I mean? But exposed must be like the fucking button, man. You see that? But manual view back, nah, it's fine. You can press that. Doesn't matter. But expose, oh ho ho ho. Do you know what I mean?
Button, which triggers off a 10-second cycle. The letter is flooded with ultraviolet light. The correct exposure is set on the machine.
See the amount of piss you had to do before email existed? My God.
The exposure is completed. Down comes the little...
Like, what if that just breaks? What if... Oh, no, my tie... I know it's my first day, but my tie get caught in the exposure machine. I'm sorry. What do we do? Oh, you need to write a letter to it. I can't write a letter because to do so would require using the exposure machine. But I broke it because my tie got caught in it.
Heated pad, which develops the film. And already the film is moved on automatically for the next.
Lot of fucking about, a lot of fucking about.
There's a check. And to check other correspondence in the file, all you do is to put it into a quite normal type.
If you think of the type, this isn't 71, is it? Surely this is earlier than 71. I don't know. But if you think of like spy technology and all of that sort of stuff, the idea of having a mini spy camera that could make negatives that were, you know, millimeters wide and all of that you could then hide under your fingernail and take it across enemy lines back to your home territory, like all of that sort of stuff, James Bond stuff, was a big deal. And so I suppose this is like pre-digital exciting technology. A microfiche film would have been a very exciting prospect for a mad secret agent enthusiast back in the day.
Death.
There's some guys called Fox Dog Studios, that's confusing, that do comedy at the Fringe using tech, and they're amazing. Think you'd love them? Oh, a nice one, man. Well, it's my birthday later on this month. It's my birthday on the 21st, which is at the end of the run, of everybody's run. And I just thought the day, because I've not been to Edinburgh this year at all, it might be good to head through to Edinburgh for my birthday. However, the likelihood of me getting tickets for anything good now is like pretty poor. But I was going to have a look and see your regular, your Roscoe's, your Mario Lane's, your CMB's, your Fox Comedy's. But I guess I've missed yours. But I will check out. I think somebody else recommended Fox Dog Studios to me ages ago. For similar sort of techie reasons. I'll be in it, man.
Or tabletop viewer. And slide the letter you want to see onto the screen. There it is. And
got to see Liam Withnell tomorrow and Roscoe on Monday. Amazing.
Despite
Fox Dog Studios used to stream. Maybe that's where I recognise the name. Did they stream during COVID? And then they were one of these sort of part-time streamers that as soon as everything opened back up, they went back to the actual lucrative day job. How dare they make money?
Very small size, you can judge for yourself.
I think we've ended on a shitter there. See that microfiche thing? I'm too bored to let it finish. There's not even colour in it. That was really bad. I would say my most favourite part of what we did today, I think, see this blind guy's memory technique stuff? I think that was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. My most favourite thing that we did today, though, was a bit of research. See if you weren't in, right? There was a story we looked at earlier today where some enthusiast made a robot that could act like a pet, right? And according to 1970s barrier for success, this was a successful recreation of a pet.
Toys is Z's unpredictable behaviour. Once he's switched on, Z has a mind of his own.
That's not.
He acts and reacts to situations in a way no one can forecast. Whatever he does is always a complete surprise.
Right, so check this out. When we were watching that video package, it mentioned that an enthusiast got instructions. There's a guy called Jerry. He got instructions in a local electronics magazine. So we did a wee bit of research, right? We found the guy called Jerry. I forget his full name. Jerry Brown, right? We found him. So all we knew is a guy called Jerry Brown, Computers magazine for the early 70s. We found an article with him in it, and then we found his home address. We looked at the actual home address for where that robot was maybe built, and then eventually we found the article on the internet where, if we wanted to, we could recreate that wee stupid wee robot. How cool is that, man? It's all just archived on the internet. You need a 4.7 ohm resistor, for example. How cool is that? Full schematic. And front page pattern, man. Practical Electronics, June 1971, 20 pence. So if I didn't have a lot on my plate, I might be compelled to now build a version of Z live on stream. But as it happens, I can't be bothered doing that. So we had the idea, we observed it, and we're going to move on from it. But how cool was that I figured out just for like one wee bit of information on a Tomorrow's World broadcast that we've narrowed right down to get a full schematic for how to replicate that. Oh, it was exhilarating, everybody. It was absolutely exhilarating, let me tell you. Let me tell you something else. Tomorrow morning, I'm getting up early and we're bundling Fred Dog in a car because Fred Dog is getting chemotherapy tomorrow. So at 9 in the morning, Fred and Rachel and I will be in a car. We might treat ourselves to an exciting breakfast. And then we need to keep it sweet because after that, I've got my day job. So it means that I won't be on at 1:30 tomorrow in the afternoon. So I might be on tomorrow night. Do you know what I mean? Are you going to enter that at the next local Robot Wars? I'd love to enter something that's just made out of paper mache into Robot Wars and just watch it get absolutely annihilated. Can I say as well, sorry for the last raid that I did. Remember I was talking to you about this guy, Leslie Tanner, who's like a comedy character guy. I think he's American, probably Canadian. Probably Canadian. I've just got a Canadian vibe for the guy, but I don't know. Let's see if I'm right. Anyway, he's in character, like a VHS sort of guy, and he's interesting, man. He was doing interesting stuff. However, I raided him when he was 12 hours into a silent stream. And he's now, well, it couldn't have been 12 hours, maybe 10 hours into a silent stream. He's now 18 hours into this silent stream. So I'm not going to raid into him again, right? Next time I raid into this guy will be when he's doing a speaking stream, right? Because, you know what I mean? And instead what I'm going to do is take you over... Shit. He's maybe not started yet, to the 27 Club, unless somebody else is already on and active. I'll give another couple of minutes. But there's a guy called David, and he is primarily got an American audience, but he's Scottish, and he likes to talk about political events, particularly like American politics and stuff like that. But he enjoys a smoke, and he's Scottish, so he's sound, and he will go for the next few hours. I think if I raid, he'll go. By the time we've raided in, he'll be live. So that's how we're raiding today. Listen, everybody, thanks very much for coming in. It's important that you both keep it real and take it easy. It's important you do both of those things simultaneously, okay? Thank you very much for joining me here today. The next time you see me, I will have my proper, actual good camera working. Cheers. I will see you later. Remember, I'm working tomorrow. I'll try and get a stream in at some point. I think this guy banned me for calling Richard Madeley a cunt. Nah. 27 Club? 27 Club would definitely say that Richard Madeley is a cunt. Must be some misunderstanding. Next time you're both in my chat, I'll bring it up and see how it goes, right? Who knows, man? Who knows? Anyway, everybody, see you later. Love you. Bye. Oh, magic trick. Listen, everybody, my name's James Houston and Houston's Boostin', but before I do, watch this. Was that any good? I don't even think it was very good. See you later. That's me done now. Good night, and just remember, don't have nightmares, do sleep well.